for tomorrow. And some news that might have gone under the radar yesterday. The Astros signed Japanese right-hander Tatsuya Imai to a 3-year, $54 million deal.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, actually, Mike Lefko and Brian Walters with you, and let us be the 15th, 20th to wish you Happy New Year? I don't know. You probably got that enough. When do you think there's a moratorium on that? How long do you think you can keep saying Happy New Year before people just give you an annoyed look?
End of January.
End of January.
I think so.
Wow.
January's like the new month.
All right. Happy New Year, Matt. Are you annoyed yet by that?
Every day this month, Matt.
It's a pre-existing condition this year.
Well, if you're listening and you haven't seen anyone else yet, because I spent all yesterday secluded on the couch, so go around saying Happy New Year to everyone. But yes, a Happy New Year, a happy first day that we're on, and then also final day of the week, because, Brian, it's tomorrow. The game we've been talking about and the game that is sitting there as one of the biggest matchups in the last 6 years in Seahawks regular season history. Seahawks, 49ers for the 1 seed. We're going to break it all down today. You got Brian Walters here because, do you need more than that? Great analysis coming from you. And then adding on to it, Paul Moyer will join us at 3 o'clock. Brian, I got some news for you, and maybe great news for Matt and our listeners as well. We're done at 5 o'clock today. So we are done a little bit early, a shorter stretch of us because of the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Huge
game.
That iconic
Huge
bowl
tonight.
game.
Yeah.
Have you
That's
seen
Dickert, right? Wake Forest,
Yes.
that's what you said?
I was going to say, It's Wake Forest, and it's Mississippi State, so you might have some rooting interest or rooting against him, whatever. But yeah, Jake Dickert is coaching Wake Forest. And also, do you know what's great about the Duke's Mayo Bowl?
No, I cannot wait to hear this.
The winning coach gets mayonnaise dumped on them.
Ooh. I don't know.
Kind of disgusting.
It is kind of disgusting. Are you a Mayo fan?
No, not at all.
I'm not a Mayo fan either.
It's unique,
I am,
though.
actually.
It just kind of leads.
Changed my mind.
Oh, are you?
I actually do. Like a nice little turkey sandwich with some mayo.
Would you
some
want it
pickles.
dumped all over you, though?
No, actually, I can't say I've ever experienced that, though.
Exactly.
So it's hard for me to judge that when it's never happened to me before. But maybe you would. Maybe you would like it.
Bowl games, they are unique.
What is this, a big jar?
They lean into it.
It's a huge jar.
No, they put it in
Gatorade?
like a Gatorade thing almost. Yeah, and then it's dressed up like a big jar, and then they dump it on the winning coach.
It's awful.
Yeah, quite disgusting. But that's coming on at 5 o'clock, so we're done at 5.
I'm going to tune in to watch that right at the end.
And yes, do it. And if you're horrified, like Bob Stelton is of mayonnaise, then do not watch.
He doesn't like mayonnaise.
He
I
would
don't like
hate that bowl game,
Really?
which is fair. I mean, who wants mayonnaise dumped on them? But that's coming up at 5 o'clock. So we have Mean Text at 4:45. And we were joking about this, Brian. You seem to be like the mean text guy.
I am.
You just call in B-Walt on Fridays.
I'm the stunt devil.
Yeah, that's
Stunt
true.
double for
stunt double,
Wyman on Mean Text days.
Well, if you're being the stunt double for Wyman,
Yeah.
you're going to get a huge amount of mean texts. They're coming your way via Dave Wyman.
You know, the thing about Wyman is he's aggressive back, which I appreciate.
True.
He's just like, bring it on. I don't know if I have that in me. I want to be nice. It's a New Year's resolution to be nice for me out there, so that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Hopefully our
It's not. I
listeners-
just made
it's
that
not
up
the
right now.
Resolution. 866-979-3776. You can send them in all show, and then we'll get to them at 4:45. Someone's already disagreeing with you. 253 says, the whole month, no way.
Yeah.
1 week max.
How about this? I'm gonna preface it with this. As soon as you get used to writing it on paper, 2026, when that becomes normal, it's no longer New Year. But if you start writing 2025, you know how I make that error a bunch of times. You're dating things, 1/15, 2025. Oh, no, it's 2026. As soon as you get used to 2026, you can no longer say Happy New Year when you're writing dates on stuff.
Okay.
How about that?
I think it's more business day approach. Like today is the first day back for a lot of people. But if people took this week off, Monday is then appropriate because you're seeing your coworkers for the first time.
Yep.
And then, all right, you're done. You move on from that. But all right, hey, if you see Brian over the course of January, he's going to say Happy New Year to you.
I will.
But Brian, this year starts off in a massive way for the Seahawks. Their first game of the 2026 calendar year is the final game of 2018. And we learned yesterday, we got some final injuries for both the Seahawks and the 49ers. The big one for the Seahawks, Charles Cross. He has been ruled out, which I guess, hey, it's okay that they've been able to get by without him. You never like to see your starting left tackle not be in there, but he is the only one right now that's been out. Kobe Bryant's doubtful. And then you're talking about a backup right tackle or left tackle in Josh Jones. He's questionable. Ankle, knee, You think what? Nothing to be worried about there? He was limited in practice yesterday.
I think he'll be in there. I don't think there's any way he would not be in there. I don't know how those injury designations go. Should probably know this, but they're just making sure he's ready to go. And it's a short week too. So there's the other part of it. Being the short week changes everything as far as your designation and your rest. Sometimes I think coaches say, we're going to make you get half the reps today, and then you all of a sudden become limited participant because just trying to get you back for Saturday. Yeah. And 49ers, I feel like there's guys on their list there, like Trent Williams. I don't think he's going to play. I can't believe he's listed as questionable. You would think he'd be doubtful. And that's kind
of what manipulating the injury report a little bit because he has not practiced all week. So I don't really understand the difference between a questionable and a doubtful there. It sounds like he's not going to play, and we'll get into what a 49ers reporter told Brock and Salk earlier today. But, when you look at these two teams, and again, the Seahawks ones were just cross out and Kobe Bryant doubtful, we assume Josh Jones will play. And then the Niners, they have a lot of questionable. So Trent Williams, but he hasn't practiced all week. George Kittle, questionable. He was limited in practice. He said last Sunday, though, after that game, he goes, I'm going to play. So if you take him at his word, all right, George Kittle's going to play. Ricky Pearsall, questionable, limited in practice. And then Upton Stout, the rookie corner, who's been pretty good this season. He did struggle. He struggled immensely in week 1. JSN lit him up. But since then, he's been pretty good. Yeah. He's questionable as well with a concussion, was a full participant. So when you look at these two teams, who do you think on the surface is just more impacted by these injuries?
Well, I have to go 49ers. Yeah. You have to. I mean, I don't think there's a question. The Seahawks have managed injuries so well, and that's what's so fun about both these teams. They've both been so beat up. I mean, but you go back to the 49ers, you lose Fred Warner. That's your guy. That's your all-pro, all-world linebacker, best in the game. He will be a Hall of Famer, and you've managed without him. You lose Nick Bosa. You go back to week 1, Nick Bosa was an issue for the Seahawks. He obviously the last second, the fumble at the very end, he caused. He drove Abe Lucas straight back into Sam Darnold. But he had a couple big plays earlier in that game as well, some big tackles for losses, some pressures on Sam Darnold. So he was an issue. So those two are some of the best in the game right there. And the 49ers have had to deal with them most of the season, them not being there. And so that's kind of been the fun thing about covering the Seahawks this season is all these injuries they've had. You've seen Julian Love go down. You've seen Nicky Manwari be out. Witherspoon's missed some time. You've seen, who am I missing here?
Well, Charles Cross.
Charles Cross is now out the last couple weeks. Mostly, I feel like on the defensive side of the ball is where you've seen this.
Missed a game.
Ernest Jones has been out, and you've seen your guys step up and kind of fill in, and like it's been nothing. And I think that's been so cool, and that's why this matchup is so awesome. I think is because both teams have kind of weathered the storm in that way. The injuries have not hurt them. They've showed the depth that these rosters both have, and that guys can step up and still kind of make your team a competitor.
What's very appealing from the Seahawks perspective is the fact that going in, we already know their strength is the defensive line. Against anyone, you could put the best offensive line in football up against the Seahawks defensive line, and the Seahawks are going to have some success. We know that's their strength. They've done it all year. Now, okay, you have the prospect of potentially not facing an all-pro left tackle. He injured his hamstring on the first play of the game. It's a short week. That's a lot to ask. I mean, Charles Cross has been out for 3 weeks now with a hamstring injury. So I'm going to say Trent Williams is not playing. So now you go into this maybe kind of licking your lips if you're the Seahawks defensive line thinking, well, look at this. Trent Williams, who has just done it year in and year out, is not there. And we have a backup that has to try to contain this front four of the Seahawks?
Yeah, huge. I always wondered about linemen and hamstring injuries. That was something. As a receiver, you're out for so much time. And because you got to sprint, you got to go, you're going, and that thing could pop on you at any second. And that's like the worst fear in the world. Oh, I hate that. But linemen, I know it's still important, but you're not really letting go. You're not really getting in that full hamstring sprint. You're more kind of getting in pass protection. And I don't know. I always wonder can you play with a 70% hamstring as a lineman? And that's kind of what maybe I bet you Trent Williams, it'll be a game time. Get out there, get some pass drops, explode off in a run block. That's probably part of it too. But and see where he's at. But I always kind of wondered that because I know as a receiver, if it's not 100%, if your hamstring's at 90%, 95%, you can't go. There's no chance because you're just the second you unleash, and especially in game speed, because game speed's a whole nother level. You got that adrenaline. You go a little bit faster, that thing's going to go. So you got to make sure you're almost, I don't want to use the 105% terminology, but you got to make sure you're at 100%. but then you've also had like a week for that 100% to be 100% and get more reps on that.
Well, and your question about Trent Williams, that's kind of what Nick Wagner, the ESPN 49ers reporter, was detailing. He was on this morning with Brock and Salk, and he kind of went into what's going on with Trent Williams and why he and most people don't expect Williams will play.
With Trent Williams, this is the first soft tissue injury of his career, guys. That's a long career. And so he doesn't really know exactly how it's going to react. He doesn't know exactly what the recovery process is. And so what we've been told is that he has made some progress throughout the week. I actually saw him yesterday, spoke to him briefly. He said, we'll see, when asked whether he was going to play this week. But Kyle Shanahan said he made good progress. And I just could tell from, like, watching him walk, he was certainly a lot better off than he was on Sunday night when he was very, very slow getting off the field. But I still think it's asking a lot on a short turn here. My guess is you probably won't see him.
And then you're also, remember, keeping in mind that as much as we've built up this game, it is just a regular season game in the larger context of both these teams have the playoffs coming up. Now, if you're the 49ers and you're trying to rush Trent Williams back and all of a sudden he re-aggravates it and then you lose and have to play again on 6 or 7 days, that's it. Now you're not going to have him for the playoffs. So there's that delicate balancing act. So it sounds like no Trent Williams for all those reasons we've outlined.
And that's the balancing act you're talking about, because then if you win, if you come back and you re-aggravate it but you win, you get that first round bye and you get a little more rest for it. So it's just this kind of this weird spot to be in for both teams as far as the injuries, because you want your full force out there. You want everyone out there, and this is why you play the game for games like this. This is where it gets fun. I mean, everything on the line, number 1 seed. Anyone who can play, who has a little bit of injury, anything, is going to be in there. Like, that's what you know. So any maybe a slight risk to re-injure, you're going to be in there playing just because there's so much on the line on this game.
Well, talking about guys that are not going to be there, what about one that will be there that essentially wasn't in week 1? And that's Nick Moyer, who got hurt on the 4th snap of the season opener against his 49ers team. He had flown in and made a tackle, too. And then all of a sudden, all this promise with this rookie the Seahawks had traded up for, so you knew they were probably pretty excited about him. Don't know what to expect. He's out for a few games. He certainly didn't play much in that 49ers game. As you've watched Nick Moyer this season, what impact do you think he can have on this matchup?
Well, I'll tell you what, the 49er tight ends, that week 1 matchup, they were an issue. They were big body tight end that you saw the game-winning touchdown that they had over Reek Woolen there. You saw Kittle score the touchdown early in the game. Then I believe Kittle went out with a hamstring injury that game as well. So you didn't quite see that matchup. But Nick Moyer can match up with those guys. It can cause an issue for those guys. He's strong enough and big enough to handle those guys out in the routes where, you know, if you're matching up Ty Okada or Julian Love, maybe, but that it's just you're outsized way too much. But Nick Moyer has proven time in and time out this season. I mean, he's went up against the best tight end in the league, and it's Trey McBride. And when he was matched up against him, when you go watch that Cardinal film, it's fun. He made it tough on McBride to get open and made big time contested catches, and that's kind of what I want to see out of him. Is if Kittle plays, which I do think he will play. I really don't think there's a doubt in that, because Kittle wouldn't miss this one. I think he's excited about this one as anyone. But you know, that matchup we didn't get week 1. We didn't get that. We wanted it. We were excited about it. We're like, this is why you drafted Moyer for this kind of game, for this kind of matchup, but you didn't get it. So we finally get to see that. We get to see how Moyer matches up to guys like George Kittle. You saw how he does with McBride. You see, and that is Purdy used those. Week 1, that's what Purdy just fed his tight ends. You had a guy of, I believe, week 1 have 3 catches, and he never had a catch before after Kittle went out. So it's just that'll be a fun little inner matchup to watch. And Moyer's been so good. He continues to get better. I think that's the big thing. You look at rookie walls sometimes, guys kind of, you know, once you get past that 12, 13 games, you guys aren't used to it. It's a long season. All day, every day, this is your job. The season can wear on you, but Moyer he loves the game so much that he just continues to get better. He's had a lot thrown on his plate. He's got to learn all the different positions, linebacker, safety, you know, edge, corner, everything. He's had to learn all of that as a rookie, and he's handled it brilliantly. So I just couldn't be more excited to see him match up against like a George Kittle.
What about on the other side? Because earlier this week, I think right after their game on Sunday night, Diamador Lenore, the great agitator, the guy who has kind of single-handedly kept the hatred alive in this rivalry, came out and said, I want to cover JSN. I want to cover him all over the field. I want to follow him every snap. All right, practicality, that might be different than the guy actually wanted to do so. So Robert Saleh, actually, was a really interesting question by one of the Niners media members yesterday. They asked Robert Saleh what that would entail. Hey, could you have a guy like Lenoir follow JSN? And Salah had a really good answer here. I want to get your insight on this, breaking down the advantages and then challenges of having a cornerback travel all over the field with a receiver.
It's easy for the guy who travels, right? I got that guy, I'm going to travel wherever I want, especially since we're a zone-based defense, right? So if it was man coverage, easy for him. But then it is a little bit more difficult for the other guys. Like, how does everybody else align? Because we're not. Do you go match where everyone just picks a number? What if that number's not on the field? Do you pick a different number? Do you, or is it all right? We're all going to align off of Demo, and what if Demo's in the slot? Does that put the nickel out on number one where he's never used, where he's not used to being? So techniques change within your man principles because now you're in different locations. All right, now put yourself in zone. You're trying to match up where he is, and you're matching up. Now Demo's in the slot. Does that mean Upton's now playing corner third, which he hasn't done all year? And so there's a lot of new techniques that you're going to ask a guy to do. So it's very expensive, not for the guy traveling, but for the guys not traveling. Can it be done? Of course it can be done. Do we have it in our inventory? Absolutely. Can we? Maybe. So we'll see.
Okay, so distill that down for us and what you think actually might happen with Lenoir and with how they cover JSN.
They're not going to do it every play. I mean, I think that's the answer to that question. Robert Saleh just pretty much said it. There's too much. Every single play you have, if you're going to try to do that, there's too much communication, too much going on for a defense to be able to put that in 1 week, right? Like to be able to just say, hey, JSN, you're going this way. If JSN motions out to the left, Lenoir's following him. But now Upton, you got to, you have the number 2 guy, but you're following in this. There's too many moving parts to this, especially with how often JSN goes in motion. Because, JSN, let's say, is on a trips on the left side, 3 receivers out to the left or a bunch or whatever. And then all of a sudden, Lenoir's the outside guy. And you motion JSN all the way across and Lenoir follows him. I mean, just like that, depending on the defensive call, the zone they're in, as Saleh mentioned, they love to play zone defense. That's what their base is. Like that changes you because normally in zone you wouldn't follow, right? Like Lenoir wouldn't follow JSN if you're playing zone. You just kind of bump him. JSN would go unimpeded. The corner on the other side would pick him up. But when you have a guy follow, it changes your whole concept of where you're going to be in the zone. There's just a lot of communication you got to be in, and it all varies on the formation. So you can just change that every single play. Now, where I do think they're gonna do that, follow JSN, is specific downs, down and distances, big time downs. 3rd and 6, and they show this formation. You're following JSN. When they have some kind of tendency that the Seahawks have, because they will have that. The Seahawks have tendencies, on 3rd downs and certain yardages. There's a whole stat sheet broken up about, the mid-range routes, short routes, long routes, what the Seahawks like to do. What does JSN like to do? Like, that's what the scouting department does. That's what all these analytics do. So they have tendencies. So if there's one that's totally out of whack and the Seahawks have shown a big tendency, then, yeah, maybe they'll probably focus in on that a little more and say, hey, if this is what you see, Seahawks like to do this, boom, you're following him. But I don't think they're going to do it every play. And, again, why would you want to do that when it's first down and of course you're going to pass on 1st and 10 sometimes, but 1st down and 10, the Seahawks want to run the ball. Remember, this is a run team. Like they stick to the run. They're committed to the run no matter what, and they've shown that all season long. And so 1st down and 10, the Seahawks have a 60% chance, 70% chance to run the ball. You're not going to just follow JSN, let him run you off and be a waste. Like, that's not what you're going to do. So, yeah, you're going to see it occasionally, certain downs and distances, but you're not going to see it every single play.
Okay, a lot more I want to get into along those lines of what it opens up for other receivers and how the run game can impact all of that. So we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll make our final predictions for this matchup in the 4 o'clock hour. Remember, mean text coming your way at 4:45. We're done at 5 o'clock today. 866-979-3776. It's a Football Friday powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And right now, let's take 2. So, Brian, some final injury news, I guess. The Seahawks just got on the plane. They're heading to San Francisco right now. But before that, Mike McDonald said that they're optimistic that Charles Cross will be back whenever they play next. So that could be this upcoming week. If you lose here, you're playing the first week of the playoffs. That could be, a little over 2 weeks. But whenever they're playing again, Charles Cross will be back. Now, the downside to the injury updates today from Mike McDonald, he also said they're not expecting Torrey Horton back this season. He's been out since that Commanders game. You remember he had the 2 touchdowns? He's been out since then, and they're not expecting him back this season.
That one hurts. And you wanted to see the young rookie kind of continue where he left off. I'm actually kind of shocked it's held him out so long. I mean, I know there's probably something else going on with the shin, but he's a guy that the Seahawks team could use just with some receiver depth, some explosiveness. I mean, can you imagine those 4 guys on the field with JSN, Cooper Kupp, Rashid Shaheed, and Torrey Horton? I mean, that's a crew right there that can all make plays.
Do you think the vertical passing game has suffered a little since Torrey Horton's gone out, or is it just maybe leaping to a conclusion that's not there?
I just think that's one of the big reasons they brought Rashid in for that big trade. They knew what they were missing when Horton went out, and then they brought Rashid Shaheed in to try to fill that a little bit. And he's done a good job. Now, I really do. He got that speed. Torrey Horton's got the speed. Those guys have the speed, and that's what you needed. So I don't think it's... Well, stats will tell you it has suffered because they were throwing the ball deep. The first half of the season, they were the best in the league at it. And then it's suffered ever since you saw Horton go out. So, yeah, stats will say that. But at the same time, you do have a receiver that can take the top off the field. So I don't think it has affected him that much.
Well, the other team in the NFC West that's jostling for a playoff position, the Rams. Now, Sean McVay said they're still going to play their starters on Sunday, even if they're locked into their seed by the time they kick off. The potential for the Rams, well, they could be the 6th seed if the Seahawks lose. If the Seahawks win, the Rams then have to win to be the 5 seed. What's interesting, Brian, is we can throw out all these scenarios, kind of looking down the line. But if the Rams are the 5 seed and the Seahawks are the 1, there's a very good chance that then they're playing in that next round of the playoffs because the Rams will play the 4 seed, which is the NFC South winner, and that's going to be the Panthers or the Bucks. In order for the Seahawks, if they get the 1 to not play the Rams, that means either the 6 or the 7 would have to win.
The Rams are always in play. Always in play. But this tells me that McVay is obviously not happy with how his team performed against the Falcons. I mean, if they went out, they played well against the Falcons. Last year against Seattle, they sat most of their starters. Yeah, everything was locked in. They knew where they were. They sat them. This year, he's like, no, we got some stuff to fix. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a preseason deal where they play. Maybe they get a couple kinks out, maybe 1 or 2 quarters, maybe a half, and then he starts to make those switches because it's really not worth it to get these guys hurt. Stafford can't get him hurt. If the Rams have Stafford hurt, they're done. Mm-hmm. So, I know he's saying that, but they're preparing like they're going to play. They're going to play probably a preseason and then be done. Yeah, he didn't clarify. You're right. He didn't say, well, they're going to play 3 quarters or they're going to play the entire game. He just said they will play. So it could be 2 drives and then that's it. If I could do a better Sean McVay impression, I would try to do it right now. His voice is so distinct and hilarious. I was thinking I wanted to try to do an impression of him saying that. That wouldn't have gone over well, and then I just would have been made fun of, and it's Mean Text Day, so more material. Yeah, I couldn't do that. Yeah. But that is Take 2, brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/CyberKnifeProstate. Well, we've arrived at the exact same situation that Sam Darnold found himself in last year. We will dive into that, what it means, whether he still has something to prove as the Seahawks go for the number 1 seed. Mike Lefko and Brian Walters with you. It's Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Ball teed up.
It all comes down to this.
The final game of the regular season.
One game.
To decide who wins the NFC West Division.
And the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Meaning if the Seahawks win, the road to the Super Bowl runs through Lumen Field in Seattle.
You can't do that unless you win the next one.
Seahawks 49ers tomorrow. Kickoff at 5. Pregame at 2.
This should be fun.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Ewert here. It's such a joy for me to be joined by Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, I've heard so much about traveling physical therapists. What's that mean to you and IRG?
That's a great question, Brock. Traveling physical therapy right now, I think, is a fad, and a lot of young therapists are doing it, but they're missing opportunities that we provide here at IRG. And those things we provide at IRG are really important, and that's being part of a team and treating patients, building relationships, engaging with our community. That is so important. The other thing is they're not getting paid time off. A crew are paid time off, and they do not get continuing education, professional growth, and that is so important as a young therapist to have access to professional growth. The other thing is we have an enhanced compensation program here at IRG that our physical therapists, our occupational therapists can increase their earnings by engagement, outcomes, and intervention. That's what we're all about. We're about building a great culture for young therapists and all clinicians to work here.
Openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers.
Want to make 2026 your year of adventure? Book that trip and learn a new language with Babbel. Go ahead, make a resolution you can stick to. Now is the time. Babbel's New Year sale is here. Unlock all of the languages on Babbel with the lifetime subscription for 65% off. Just go to Babbel.com and start today. Babbel teaches you relevant words and phrases, so you can start speaking with confidence in as little as 3 weeks. And because Babbel's bite-sized lessons fit easily into your daily routine and are easy to remember, you'll be talking like a local in time for takeoff. Dive into the world of language learning content with Babbel's videos, podcasts, and stories from around the world, full of culture bites and language learning tips. Turn your daydream into a destination this year with Babbel. But don't wait. This offer ends January 15th. Get Babbel's lifetime access for less at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Tune in this Saturday when the Seahawks take on San Francisco. Kickoff at 5 o'clock p.m. Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Proud sponsor of the Seattle Seahawks and the biggest and best in the Pacific Northwest.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Rain on game day doesn't faze Dave. He's already got his poncho. Just needs to do something about those wipers. So Dave heads to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner helps him get premium quiet wipers and some hand warmers.
You're all set.
Now, if only his team can handle the elements as well as his new wipers. Get wipers, glass cleaner, and more with no hassles, just help at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We've got Paul Moyer coming up at 3 o'clock. He's requested that we call him the Oracle, the future teller, the soothsayer. Paul's getting really close to that prediction he made on the show. After the Titans game, he said the Seahawks were going to win out. They're close.
Wasn't
They
looking
win their
good during
final
the Rams,
6.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
looking good.
So you were sitting there with him, right?
Sitting there next to him.
You going to share the behind the scenes
30 to 14.
drama?
I said, "Ugh, Paul, sorry, man. Prediction's done." I was one of them. I didn't believe.
I
did
give
not
up? Though?
believe.
Did he give up on his prediction, or did he still have faith?
No, I think he had faith.
All right, we'll have to ask him.
He kept
I'll have to
with it.
say,
We'll
was
ask
there
him.
any doubt? Did you waver at all,
Yeah.
Paul? So that's coming up at 3 o'clock, and then mean text at 4:45 before we turn you over to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. But then tomorrow, we've arrived once again. The identical situation for Sam Darnold. It is kind of fluky. It is just weird sports god sense of humor that Sam Darnold has to endure this entire offseason of, well, is he the guy? Can you trust him? The Vikings cut bait with him. He lands in the Seahawks. He leads them to a 13-win, tying the best regular season win total in franchise history, the brink of a 1 seed, and yet he finds himself again having to answer this question. Can Sam Darnold do it in a big moment because of what happened last year?
He can't catch a break. And
He really
when
can't.
I say that, I mean, if you take all right, so his conference last year in the NFC North, 40-11, the top 3 teams. 40-11. Okay, and you go back to all the conference, I go back about 10 years is what I went back and looked at this. Like in every single one of those years, he's the number 1 seed and conference champion,
Except for last year.
and division champion, except for last year. Okay, all right. So you know what? 1 year, great.
Yeah.
You know, there's some good teams in the division, great. But you know what? Let's do it again this year. And then you have the same exact thing. I mean, this year NFC West is 36-12 right now, and you're fighting for a division after winning 13 games. So he's going, man, like, all right, here we go. I guess I got. But honestly, I bet he wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I think that's what you got to look at. He's like, well, I will always have that game last year, but we lost to Detroit, and people will be like, well, he's got to win the big game, and then he went and he lost to the Rams. Well, a lot of people don't get a chance to overcome that, to do it again, to be able to kind of make up for whatever bad things people have said that you can't win the big game. I don't believe it. I'm not on board with that. I think Sam can, and he has won big games, but you can't just pick and choose what big games, you know. He's won some big games this year. Like, he has. The Rams game was pretty big. I know he threw 2 interceptions, great, but the way he closed that out, that was a huge game. And so when you look at Sam, yes, he can win the big game. It's just he's had a chance throughout the last couple of years to play in a lot of big games.
And now he's going to have the exact same chances. You're going to have a game like this where last year the Vikings went into Detroit. His stat line jumps out because it was his worst by far, and then he didn't get a chance to redeem it because then the Rams lost in the playoffs, looked so bad. 18 for 41, 166 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Looking back through that, though, I put a lot of that on Kevin O'Connell. I mean, the play calling was terrible. The Vikings threw the ball 41 times. They attempted only 16 passes. They had 1st and goal and threw it 4 times. They had another situation, the same thing happened. So Darnold, the numbers don't look great. He didn't do much to help his cause, but Kevin O'Connell didn't put his team in the best position to do that. So when you look at these two things and, hey, where will it be different? I have a lot more optimism in the Seahawks and their play calling and what we've seen on the ground or with the balance that they have shown. They're not going to fall into a trap like that of having to throw 40 times in this game. So maybe that helps. And like you were saying, Brian, Sam Darnold having gone through it certainly helps going into this one. And he obviously was asked about that yesterday, and he weighed in on what he learned from that Week 18 game last year.
Yeah, I would say, the biggest thing is just, mentally, just understanding kind of, the gravity of the game and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just football, and I think that's the best part about it is, people want to make it a little bit bigger than it is, but we're just going out there, we're playing against the Niners, a really good football team, a team that we're going to be prepared for, it's going to be great though. The fans are going to be into it. It's going to be a great atmosphere. But other than that, it's football, and we'll be ready to go for it.
What do you think? What do you think about all that?
I love
kind
it.
of reaffirm what you were saying?
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's been Sam Darnold's approach all season long, too. I think, he will always have that, whatever, monster you want to call it from last year, and people will always bring that up. And then also what Sam has to deal with, and this is why I think he's the perfect guy for this spot he's in right now, is all the stuff he put up with early in his career. He's a failure. What a bust. You can't win. And that's what he's dealt with. He's always dealt with people doubting him. And what's crazy is, all right, is Patrick Mahomes a good quarterback? I'm going to go on something with this. Is Patrick Mahomes a good quarterback?
Yes.
Okay. So they won back-to-back Super Bowls back in 2022, 2023?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sam Darnold, he's had a couple good years, right? These last 2 years been good years. If I told you Sam Darnold's stats, his passer rating is better than Patrick Mahomes in those 2 years, Sam's last 2 years, this season, last year, has been better than what Patrick Mahomes' was when they won back-to-back Super Bowls. So you want to tell me that you have a quarterback that can win you a Super Bowl? Yes, he has the ability to win you a Super Bowl, and he's played better than Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. And that's what you got to look at. I mean, so to be specific, Patrick Mahomes in those 2 seasons that they won back-to-back Super Bowls combined, he had a 99.1 passer rating. The last 2 seasons that Sam Darnold's played with the Vikings and the Seahawks, 101 passer rating. And is Patrick Mahomes that? I mean, yes, he is like kind of the guy right now. He's won Super Bowls, all that. But what I'm saying is it's there. It's there in him. He's performed better than some of the best. And at moments this season, through 10 games, 11 games, whatever it is, you're going, there's no one playing better football than Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. So it's there. And I don't know why, one game, he throws 4 interceptions against the Rams and then everyone's just kind of like falling off. But it's like, Mahomes has had bad games too. It happens to every quarterback. It does. But how do you respond? I think he's responded great. He's not putting up the stats, that he kind of did earlier. Maybe the deep ball, they've kind of gone away from that a little bit. It'll be back. But he's also made some fantastic throws when it mattered most late in a lot of these games.
And I think it is pretty important, the order of the Rams games. Because of the stigma around, late in the season, can Darnold do it? And then because of, the fact that everything we've talked about with him, the first truly big moment that arrived for him with the Seahawks was the first Rams game.
Yep.
So he plays poorly. Okay, now it's still lingering. The fact that then he's able to back that up, come back, regroup after a few tough quarters, and lead a game-winning drive, that goes a long way. You get that win. You lead a 16-point comeback, and that's the final impact of these 2 Rams matchups. Had it been reversed, I think there's legitimate worry now heading into this Niners game because, here's late season Sam Darnold again. If a Week 16 loss to the Rams featured 4 interceptions instead of that happening in Week 11, I think there's a lot of merit behind can he get it done? But because he had that first, then got it out of the way and redeemed himself in Week 16, that gives me a little more confidence to say, this is not going to be the same Sam Darnold as last season in the exact same moment.
No, I would 100% agree with that. I think it's, and look, McVay, the Rams, they've done such a good job of fooling Sam Darnold, I think. I think there's something about them and the way that their defense, they disguise things. And Sam Darnold just hasn't seen it yet. And he's made the adjustments, that's for sure. But there's certain plays that I feel like they are just on. And they're like, all right, look, here's Sam's read. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make him think this is this, and he's going to throw it. You're going to jump it. It's going to be like they've just done that. They've had it. And so that's something Sam needs to work on, absolutely, for sure. But again, I think Sam Darnold gets a lot more hate than he deserves here. And another comparison I'm going to make here is Brock Purdy. Does anyone out there think Brock Purdy has trouble against Mike McDonald's defenses? Is that like a stigma that he carries around? Like, do you hear that?
Good question. No, I don't think so.
You?
No.
Okay, well, when you compare the last 3 seasons against Mike McDonald defenses, he's got an 82.8 passer rating against Mike McDonald defenses. Sam Darnold against the Rams the last 2 years, 79 rating. Not that far off. Like, that's 1 touchdown. That's what that does. That's 1 touchdown or 1 interception less. And you have the exact same ratings. That's it. Like, all the bad things that Sam Darnold's had happen with the Rams, you're only 1 touchdown off from being as good as Brock Purdy has been against Mike McDonald coached defenses. It's just the stigma that he carries. That's it. That's what it is. But he's had some good games with decent games against the Rams. Brock Purdy's had some bad games against Coach McDonald when he's played him with the Ravens, with everything. But it's just, you just don't get that because I believe it's from where Sam Darnold has come from, being that Jets quarterback and all that.
B-Walt, come with the facts there. All right, a lot to dive into with that. We'll get back to that and the Darnold aspect of it all. But we have some predictions to make for this final week of the regular season. Outside of Seahawks 49ers, there are some big games in the NFL. We'll get into that up next. Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Let's start with the most obvious, Brock.
Brock and Salk.
His defense is really good.
Morning 6 to 10.
A lot of loss.
Yesterday was we can't block DeMarcus Lawrence, we can't block Leonard, we can't block Byron, we can't do anything, we can't push the ball down the field. We just can't compete with that defense that is just basically humiliated us in our own building.
Very, very attuned to not giving up the big play, but then the pass rush is a big part of that, and it gets home.
Only on Seattle Sports.
The new year is finally here, and you could kick the new year off right by getting in shape and making Top Fitness your first stop. Hey, Brock Ewart here with my friends at Top Fitness, where their stores are celebrating the new year with some great deals. You could take your New Year's resolution seriously with the very best fitness gear there is set up in your home by our professional installers. They sell the best quality products available. Brands like Precor, True, Octane, Inspire, and Hyrox. Come in now and check out the best deal of deals on treadmills. They're Precor 885 treadmills that are lease returns normally sell for over $13,000, now only $36.99, including a full 3-year warranty. This is the same commercial treadmill sold to health clubs worldwide. And every new treadmill, elliptical, and home gym, well, they're all on sale. They got the largest selection of home fitness equipment in Washington, and their staff will show you why. It's no secret why everybody from pro athletes to personal trainers love their stores. Locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or visit topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
Guys, low energy, low drive, or strength not what it used to be? For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, start with a free T-check exam and consultation to get real answers. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. Call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com. Terms apply. Must medically qualify.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
The Lowe's Closeout event means the final savings of the season are here. It's your last chance to get deals on seasonal decor, tools, flooring, and so much more. Refresh your home, check off your project list, or simply stock up on the brands you trust. Shop now to grab amazing deals before they're gone. Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 1/7. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
The Boat Show, the Boat Show, the Big Seattle Boat Show.
The Big Seattle Boat Show. It's the best time to buy. January 30th through February 7th. With big selection, big discounts, and big fun for everyone. It's a big deal. Presented by Sundance Yachts and Port of Seattle. Make it a date Friday evenings with Boat Show After Dark, featuring unforgettable ambiance, music, food, beer, and wine. Details and discount tickets at seattleboatshow.com.
With football season comes colder weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here with Keith Dashafee from locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. So Keith, what's your next big play?
Well, Steve, right now get 40% off qualifying installs or no payments and no interest for 12 months on approved credit.
Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Listen every day to the Bump and Stacy Show for headline rewrites. Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services. Security systems and fire alarms for every business. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through January 4th, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start January 7th. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes while giving you a head start on 2026. Earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got more questions we were thinking of for Paul Moyer. B-Walt's got some hard-hitting ones. I can't wait for that. So you two. You're going to get a lot of each other these next 2 days.
We are.
Seahawks
so we're
pregame tomorrow.
Today. Yes.
We got this little warm-up today. Yeah, a lot happening over these next 2 days, including the game before Seahawks 49ers, Panthers-Bucks. The old Saturday afternoon to almost decide the NFC South title, but not quite. So here's another annoyance that I have, Brian, is that in the infinite wisdom of the NFL and their schedule, trying to make teams play on Saturday, and then you're like, oh, you have standalone games. At least the teams that play on Saturday, they'll get some extra rest if they have to play the next week, and they'll know who they're playing. Oh, well, the problem is the NFC South complicated things. If the Bucks win tomorrow afternoon, the NFC South champion will not be determined until Falcons-Saints. That is how askew this division is, because if the Bucks beat the Panthers, they'll be tied, and they'll have like 8 tiebreakers to go. Then if the Falcons win, there's a 3-way tie, and the winner of a 3-way tie in that division this year would be the Panthers. So if the Bucks win, we all have to wait around to see who that 5 seed plays for the NFC South to even know who wins until Sunday afternoon, Falcons-Saints.
Well, I don't think the Bucks are going to win.
You don't? Okay, I wanted to get your thoughts.
They
we'll
are
make some predictions
struggling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I mean, they've lost 4 games in a row, and it's the Saints, the Falcons, and then the Panthers, and then the Dolphins. I mean, that's a tough stretch. That's some bad football.
Yeah.
And so the Bucks are not coming into this game with all the confidence in the world. But at the same time, it's a new day. You never know. I mean, I just can't believe the Bucks are in this spot. I mean, do you remember when the Bucks came in here? What was that, like week
5?
Was it week 5? That seems like just yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, and Baker Mayfield just lit the Seahawks defense up. And I was like, wow, this is the best team in the league. They are incredible. And then this is where they're at. It's crazy how just things can change so fast in the NFL.
I was going to say that. When you were mentioning that, it just goes to show how long of a season it can be, and the importance of one being healthy, which the Bucs have dealt with some injuries, and peaking at the right time. Now, that's the key for every team, right? Peak at the right time. The Eagles over these past few years have been one of the most dominant teams in the NFL, but they had that 2023 collapse where the year after they lost the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, they started like 11-2. Then the Seahawks with Drew Lock beat them, and then they just went into a tailspin, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs. That was a team that was one of the best in the NFL. And the thing you just mentioned with this Bucs team, I think after that Week 5 game, it was the Baker Mayfield MVP candidacy. It was, wow, the Bucs are maybe the best team in the NFC right now, a resurgent after they had a good season last year. But no, they've completely fallen off, and now we're looking at a situation where if the Seahawks lose, they're going right back to Carolina. I guess the good is you pretty much dominated that team. You know exactly what to expect. The bad would be, well, you got to go all the way right back to Carolina again for the second time in 3 weeks. That's a pretty long flight.
Yeah,
it's a lot of travel.
Yeah, you want to buy.
After traveling for 2 weeks prior to that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You don't want to do that, no matter what.
So you think, though, do you think the Panthers win?
I think the Panthers are going to win.
Pin you down to a prediction?
I just think they're kind of an inspired young team. I think that's kind of learning their way, learning how to win. Canales has those guys kind of, I mean, look where they were last year. They were awful, one of the worst teams in the league. And then now they have kind of pulled a season together. No consistency. I know they kind of went win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss for weeks in a row. But you're still getting those wins. The Carolina is, I mean, if you asked me at the beginning of this year, when you went to the game last week, and Carolina was circled on the schedule as automatic win. Right. There was no question about it. Carolina was going to be a bad team, and it wasn't that. I mean, it was, what was that, 3-3.5, I believe? So they played them tough, and the Seahawks just kind of showed their dominance in the second half. But I think Carolina will beat the Bucs. Bucs are struggling, and again, it's strange because you talked about their injuries, but his weapons have been getting healthy. You have Mike Evans back. You have Chris Godwin back. Emeka Ibuka's back. All those guys. So he has his 3 receivers that you want to see. I mean, remember, Emeka Ibuka crushed the Seahawks. So you have those guys, but they just haven't been getting it done. So I think Panthers will be the division champions there, and hopefully the 49ers or Rams are going to go play them.
Yeah, well, hopefully we do not have to worry about that. We've worried about it a lot, but then after tomorrow night, we probably won't have to worry about it. So we'll pretend we do not have to worry about it until we know for sure.
Exactly.
Now, the game that kind of stole the spot that we all thought should be Seahawks 49ers, on Sunday night, it's going to be the Steelers and the Ravens. Winner take all. You win the NFC North or you're out of the playoffs. Do you think Mike Tomlin is back next year, or do you think the result of his head coaching candidacy, or with this team, if he still has a job, is it based on what happens here in this Week 18 matchup? He's the longest tenured head coach. There's some rumors swirling.
Never had a losing season.
He and John Harbaugh are the 2 longest tenured head coaches, and now there's some consternation about their futures moving forward.
No, I think Tomlin will be back.
You think he'll be back?
I do. I think.
And then the Steelers just mired in mediocrity.
I mean, he's been dealt this year again. I mean, Aaron Rodgers first year with them. DK Metcalf's been out the last couple of games. I mean, he's dealing with stuff that he's probably never had to deal with, And I mean, look, all is well. They beat the Ravens. Boom, you're in the playoffs. He'll be back. But no, I think no matter what, Tomlin's back. He's one of those coaches that kind of, I mean, he's not. Here's what it's gonna be. He's not gonna get fired. Okay, he's not gonna get. They're not gonna just fire him. Okay. It's gonna be a mutual. All right, it's time to, go. Tomlin will get a job somewhere else, like he will. And they'll go somewhere else, but it's going to be a mutual split.
Do you think a mutual split happens after this season then?
It could.
Okay.
It could. Fresh start for someone. But again, you're in the playoff hunt. It's tough to find a head coach. It's tough to find. The Seahawks are so lucky that they found Mike Macdonald, because look at a lot of these coaches that come in and fail.
But they were in position to do that because they made the same decision.
I know.
They cut bait with Pete Carroll after some mediocre seasons. Now, he missed the playoffs, and sure, if Mike Tomlin makes the playoffs, you could say, hey, we made the playoffs still. But these Steelers teams have been nowhere close to contention.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
I also
puzzle.
don't think the talent has really been there for the Steelers either. That's the thing. What he's turned into, what he has accomplished with the team that he has, I think has been pretty good.
It's an interesting comparison to make that people now are kind of drawing that parallel to what the Seahawks did. In fact, in The Athletic, there was a big article today comparing the Seahawks and that kind of risk-taking move they made, and now the safe route the Steelers have gone, and whether they're going to finally do something like this. So something to watch. And now, really quick, before we get to Moyer coming up at 3, what about Pete Carroll, the coach of the 2-14 Raiders? Does he have a job after this weekend?
What a tough situation. I hope he does. I'm hoping he does, but from the vibe that everything, the way he sounded in his presser, I think he already knows he's probably out of there. The experiment didn't work out. I mean, he was brought in to win now. Unfortunately, that's not what he did here. That's not what he did in Seattle. That's not what he was asked to do. He was brought in to control everything, get his players in there, and kind of build the thing. What were they, 7-9 his first season? And so, unfortunately, that's not kind of the goal that the Raiders had for him, was to just kind of rebuild the whole program over a few years. Like he was there to win. You brought Geno in. You brought some pieces in that he thought were going to be the guys that are going to bring the Raiders to win the winning ways again, and didn't happen. So I unfortunately, I think Pete Carroll, this will be his last season.
Well, we'll get Paul Moyer's thoughts on that and everything else, as one texter has dubbed him Moisterdamus. So like Moyer, Nostradamus, Moyerstradamus. I don't know. We'll see if that plays. I don't know. I'm sure Paul has a good name for his prediction and what happens if it pays up. We will get Paul Moyer's thoughts on this matchup and everything else happening around the NFL this weekend. He joins us next here on Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports, and the Seattle Sports app.
All teed up.
It all comes down to this.
The final game of the regular season.
One game.
To decide who wins the NFC West Division.
And the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Meaning if the Seahawks win, the road to the Super Bowl runs through Lumen Field in Seattle.
You can't do that unless you win the next one.
Seahawks 49ers tomorrow. Kickoff at 5. Pregame at 2.
This should be fun.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Looking for a high school that nurtures both the mind and spirit?
Archbishop Murphy High School is where academic excellence meets faith-based education. With a 100% graduation rate and a college prep program designed to challenge and inspire, our students are prepared for whatever the future holds. But it's more than just academics. Archbishop Murphy's robust athletics, arts, and co-curricular activities ensure that every student finds their passion and thrives. Archbishop Murphy High School believes in educating the whole person. That's why we offer a vibrant campus life where students grow not only academically, but also spiritually, socially, and physically. Don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Schedule a visit and discover how Archbishop Murphy High School can help your students succeed. Visit am-hs.org. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy proudly supports Archbishop Murphy High School, where your story begins. am-hs.org.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But when you can't work, care for your kids, or even put food on the table, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to support Northwest Hope and Healing. Our mission is to provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. For more than 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help make a difference in our community. Join us on Saturday, January 31st, for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, gourmet cuisine, and inspiration at Mary Hill Winery in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
This This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Final injury report for Seahawks and 49ers came out yesterday, but Mike McDonald gave some more clarification on some injuries earlier today, saying the Seahawks are optimistic that Charles Cross will be back whenever they do play next, whether that's this upcoming week or after the bye if they do claim the 1 seed. McDonald also said that Torrey Horton will not return this season. Now for the 49ers, left tackle Trent Williams, tight end George Kittle, and wide receiver Ricky Pearsall are all questionable for tomorrow. And Seattle U men's basketball, they have a chance to go for the sweep of the major programs in the state tonight. They play number 7 Gonzaga. Redhawks have already knocked off the Huskies and Cougs this season.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
This is the moment many wait for.
The most entertaining.
A man of wisdom, a man of experience, Dave.
The most informative.
To bring light to a dark subject. To bring positivity to a negative world.
The incredible Paul Moyer.
Moyer out.
B-Walt, we're going to have to update this open. If the Seahawks win tomorrow, it is the credible, the maybe fortune-telling, the oracle himself. Paul Moyer joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Paul, how's it going today?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good. 2026 needs to be as good as 2025, at least for the Seahawks. But yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty good about this game tomorrow. I know most of the national media thinks a better offense is more favorable than a better defense, so we'll find out if that's true tomorrow.
Well, Paul, Brian was saying that you guys were in the press box during this Rams game, talking when it was 30-14, and B-Walt was getting a little nervous. Now, did you ever waver in your prediction during that game?
I might have leaned over to him and said, this streak may come to an end, and that's about the time they returned the punt return for a touchdown, and B-Walt said, "They're stupid. What are they thinking, kicking it to Shaheed? That's the only way that the Seahawks could get back into it," which he was right on that. So, yeah, but sometimes you need those, right? I mean, nobody blows teams out all the time, and they're easy wins. You got to find games that maybe you should have lost and won, and it has a way of evening it out. We certainly had 3 games this year that we lost that we could have won. So I think we're right where we should be. And I'm sticking to it. I think we're the best complete team in the NFL. We need the offense, obviously, to kick it into gear just a little bit. But, that's why you have a great defense. Let them finally figure it out. So I think it's going to be a great game, though. I'm really excited about it.
I will say this. Watching a game with Paul is an experience. It is.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And there's always something. Paul's always trying to calculate something, have some kind of stat for the show we do. He's probably the most passionate one about all of us, more upset about the bad things, excited about the good things. So it's fun. Paul's into it. And, on that, Paul, I think you were trying to calculate something last game. Carolina, something kind of summarizing the whole season and the Seahawks first half, second half scoring. Did you ever come up with a conclusion on that? And you may not have your numbers in front of you, but man, he had calculator out. It was something. But what you got for us there? Anything?
No, I can't even remember it now. Because that was 5 days ago, and I was trying to do something, and I ended up making it more complicated. And when you're on the radio, I always go, if I can't describe it in 15 seconds, you got to throw it out. And I couldn't describe it in 15 seconds. So I said, okay, I'm scratching this one. It would have been really good if I could have remembered.
A lot of numbers.
Can I tell you, I did happen to hear this live. I was driving home after this Panthers win. And, you were trying to figure out something. Big Ray had asked you something, Paul, and then you guys were getting to another segment. And Bump was going to ask you a question. And then he looks over and goes, "Oh, no, you still working on that?"
Yeah.
So I can't believe it didn't pan out.
It was about the first half, second half scoring.
Okay.
And that and not just the first half of a game, second half, that was part of it, but also the first half of the season versus second half of the season are scoring. And what I did come up with, while the last 6 games were the third lowest points in the first half, we're number 1 most points scored in the second half. And so, I'm like, I'd like to score a few more points in the first half. And then I started breaking it up the first half of the season, second half, and I just got confused at that point. I said, I'm out. I'm backing out. So that's it.
But what we did find is the first half of the season, they were more of a first half team. Isn't that what the number showed?
Absolutely. Yeah. We were very good. I mean, we were the number one team, like the first 8 games in the first half. And, we had some blowouts early, which helps. But, but we are number one in the second half over the last 7 games.
All right. So if you had to pick one of those, Paul, what are you picking? If it's your team, you picking to be more best all your scoring in the first half or all of it in the second half?
I want the one that gets us the most points at the end of the game. But it does feel better. It feels better when you get the first half, especially with our defense. You get out to a double-digit lead with our defense and really force teams to have to throw. That gives you a pretty good chance. Here's what I know. I mean, the worst loss we've had this year was the first game of the year to the 49ers, 17-13, a 4-point loss. We're a good football team. We find ways to compete and stay in it. And, if you got to win it in the fourth quarter and the final kick, so be it. I really think this is going to be an interesting game, though. I think Sam Darnold has a chance to have a very good game. And, again, all the stats. The 49ers have the least amount of sacks of anybody in the NFL. They don't pressure. They play a lot of zone. If you don't pressure Sam Darnold, Sam can eat you up. And I think our defense, we match up great. I think having Witherspoon and Emenwari healthy, we can combo that with, against McCaffrey and Kittle if need be. I think the way we collapse a pocket is unique in the NFL. There's no question. The X factor is Brock Purdy. He's a special player in that pocket with his feet. And I say it's more with his feet than even his arm because he's very much a timing quarterback. But, man, the way he gets out of trouble and that first couple steps, he may not run a 4.40, but he runs a 4.4 inside the pocket. And that'll be the challenge is, does he not improvise and hurt us? But I like all the matchups. I just think we're a better defense than – well, let me phrase that. I think our offense, their offense and our defense are equivalent, and I think our offense is better than their defense. And to me, that's the deciding factor.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to kind of weigh in on what unit is going to have more success against the lesser one. And, in this case, it's the 49ers defense. As you mentioned, they've struggled immensely this year. So when you look at this Seahawks offense, outside of Darnold – is there someone you're kind of zeroing in on that needs to step up and have a big game or that will be the key for this offense? We talked about JSN and what they might try to do to cover him. Is there someone outside of JSN that you think needs to step up that might be going under the radar?
Well, that's actually a really good question. I think the way the 49ers play defense, I think JSN's going to have a good game. There's just the way they play their zone and just the lack of pressure. He's a guy, if you give him time, he's going to run his routes and he'll split a double team if need be. Look, this is just all hands on deck. I'm not sure if there's one guy. I would love to see Shaheed get more opportunities in the passing game, but I don't care if it comes from Barner or our running backs or Cup. I mean, let it be a surprise. It does not matter to me. I know one thing. We do need to run the football. That's a critical component. We need to make this very physical because I think it's going to be another Ram type of physical game. I mean, it's kind of a Super Bowl. Reminds me a little bit of 2013 in that, whoever wins out of the West and particularly in the NFC, I think they're the dominant team in the NFL. So this is huge. I mean, this is, you go from a 1 seed to a 5 seed, depending on if you win or lose. This is going to be electric. The crowd's going to be into it. So, but I think we're a better team, and we got to go out and prove it on 5:00 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Paul. Earlier, we had our conversations we have kind of behind the scenes, and one of those conversations, which I agreed with at the time, and I still up in the air for me, is you like where this is going, don't you? We talked about, and I believe you brought this up, that Sam Darnold could be the best Seahawk quarterback to put on the uniform, right? Remember the start of the year? Remember we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you think, one, do you still feel that way? And two, do you think this game could sway that any direction? Do you think this game tells everything about that prediction you had early in the year?
Yeah, and what I said about Sam is I think Sam's the most talented quarterback the Seahawks have ever had.
Okay.
And, again, I said there's a long way to go for him to be the best quarterback we've ever had. And, obviously Russell Wilson, going to 2 Super Bowls, winning 1, he had some phenomenal years. But Sam can do everything in the pocket. He can do everything outside the pocket. He can make every single throw. We've seen it. We've seen the contested throws he's made in tight windows where I said we've never had a quarterback do that before. So yes, I think this is really important for him. And it's important for the Seahawks too. I kind of hate the narrative they've made in that, we're going back a year ago and that he didn't play well versus Detroit and then the Rams. And it's like, well, he can't win the big game. I'm like, we're going off those two. Those are the 2 games. And by the way, if you go watch those Rams and Detroit game, Minnesota's offensive line was horrible. I mean, he had no chance. It was obviously thrown all on him, and that's the nature of that position at quarterback. But it is there. It's the national media. You can't hide it. You got to go out and knock the thing off your back that no one's can talk about anymore. So, yeah, it's a big one for him, his career, because I really think if he has a big game and he takes us to the promised land, I think Sam, again, his talent level and what he's capable of doing, you've got a franchise quarterback for years to come.
Well, there you go. That's a good way to put it down there. I think, you're right, Paul. I was the one that kind of had brought this up because the scenario is the exact same in terms of it. The 1 seed's on the line, and we looked at what's at stake and what happened. But I was telling B-Wald here, there was some terrible play calling in that game, too. And I trust the Seahawks a lot more that they're not going to make Sam Darnold pass 41 times like the Vikings did in that Lions game. Kind of what you were getting at with the run game. Where do you think that can be a big advantage from what it was earlier in the season where you look at that first game against the 49ers, the Seahawks had really nothing on the ground. Now these last 2 weeks, it's kind of come to life. What do you expect out of the run game this week?
Well, I don't need it to be huge. Again, we're kind of at the end of the season where, look, we are who we are, and the 49ers are who they are. Yes, we've got to run it. We've got to be able to make sure that we're not in tough situations. We can't have 2nd and 12s and 3rd and 10s and things like that. We got to be able to run it and have manageable 3rd down situations. So I don't expect us to run for 180 yards and have at will anything we want from them. But it's important. I mean, we cannot be one-dimensional in this game. Any team in the NFL is talented, and you make them one-dimensional, it's a problem. And we're going to be on the road. It's going to be loud. The checks, everything. They're going to get a bit of a jump, so their pass rush might be a little bit better. But that first game, there's no question. We were conservative with it, and I think they were meant to be conservative. They didn't know what they had maybe yet with Sam Darnold. And then all of a sudden they let it loose, over the next, 7 or 8 games, and it was pretty remarkable. Sam is going to have to push the ball downfield. That's one thing that we've got to do. We cannot have, where I use the basketball term all the time, that, if they miss a shot and we walk the ball up court, we're playing half-court offense all day. It's too hard to score. You got to get easy scores. You got to get explosive plays downfield. And so this is an important game. When the window's there, Sam's got to take it. He's got to trust that. And when the window's closed, he's got to avoid it. And if he gets a sack, so be it. So, look, this is just a game you just got to play well. We got to win the turnover battle, which we haven't always and still have won games. Special teams, these are 2 of the best special teams in the league. So that's going to be a battle in itself. This is going to feel like the Mariners in the playoffs. Every snap is going to matter. It's going to be intense. So I won't get too technical on this. We just got to go play good Seahawks football and play more physical than them. I think we've got better players than them, even though they are loaded, obviously, offensively. But we match up. That's our strength defensively. And I don't know if they're good enough defensively to completely shut us down.
I like that you brought up the special teams part of this because I think people forget the Seahawks blocked a field goal the first week of the season against the 49ers, had a big kickoff return, and then they also missed a field goal too. So special teams, even all year for the Seahawks, has been huge. But, hey, all right, Paul, let's talk about McCaffrey for a second. the run game for the 49ers, the way the Seahawks have stopped running backs time in and time out, that's not the part of McCaffrey that really scares me going into this game. But it's the fact that McCaffrey's 7th in the league in catches. How do you stop McCaffrey as far as the passing game?
Well, that'll be interesting to see what Coach McDonald does. We played a little bit more man lately. We're a zone team as well. We've played a little bit more man. I think man against them makes sense. What scares you is the type of cross and route, pick routes, rub routes, whatever you guys want to call them to make it legal on the offensive side. That makes you nervous. I worry about the run game and that. Yeah, look, you got to fit properly, and McCaffrey's gotten hot lately, and he can go the distance. So we've got to tackle well, but you're not going to shut him down completely. But here's what I will say: we have played Robinson, who I think is the best running back in the NFL, and we pretty much shut him down. We played Taylor from Indianapolis, maybe the second or third best running back, shut him down. The Rams, we have shut everybody down. And I'm not saying we're completely shutting McCaffrey down, but he's going to have to go prove it. We've done a great job on that. So I think this still comes down to Purdy and him improvising and making a big play. What happened to us the last time is we didn't make plays. We had opportunities to intercept Purdy at least 2, maybe 3 times. We got to come down with every one of those. This is just going to be, do our playmakers more plays than them? And it's going to be fun because we have guys who can match up with McCaffrey. I can't say that was always the case. Man, 3 years ago we had no chance against McCaffrey. We do now.
I was going to say, along those lines, Paul, what impact is now having Nicky Manwari and having him for almost a full season have on this matchup where he had hurt 4 snaps into that first game?
Well, he's become a really good football player. That's one. Before he was, you just looked at him as a specimen and said, man, this guy's big, he's fast, he's tough. Now, let's see how good a football player he becomes. Because, again, I thought he was a good player in college. I didn't think he was a great player. I thought he had a lot to learn. Well, he's learned quick. Obviously he's a student of the game because he's picked up on all the little things that you need to do as a football player. The way he blitzes, the way he makes open field tackles, the way he closes in on a gap where you say, oh, that thing's the first. There's been so many times where in the past they've ran like screens and they've had blockers out and, they've got a man on a man and the screens go for 30, 40 yards. And then you got a guy like Manwari and Witherspoon, who they get off those blocks and then they make the tackle for a 2 or 3 yard gain. You don't coach that. That's not good coaching. That's called having great players. And so Manwari, again, I think with Kittle and McCaffrey, those are the 2 guys we've got to match up with. And I think with Witherspoon and Manwari sitting around the box there, that's their game. They want to play around the box, a lot of crossing routes, work the middle of the field. I think those 2 guys have a chance to have a big game.
So going back to week 1, the tight ends, George Kittle, and then, we saw the game winner that the 49ers got. What was that, Jake Tungus? I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but they each had a touchdown. Do you think, and you just mentioned the man-to-man, so you could see the Seahawks play, they should maybe play a little more man-to-man. You think Manwari is going to be a straight matchup on George Kittle or the tight ends at least?
I don't know. I don't know how much we completely do that. I know we move, Witherspoon and Manwari around. I'm curious to see who they want on McCaffrey. You can't. It's a little bit like Puka and Nakua, where you cannot. You can't leave them alone all day. We saw that the Ram game, their last game. They kind of boxed and won him, and they did a really good job of taking him away. We didn't. We played a lot more zone, and he also made some spectacular catches. I mean, you can't take that away from him. So I'm curious what we do from a matchup standpoint. I don't think we're one of those going to say, okay, I'm in war. You follow Kittle or McCaffrey all over the place, and same with you, Witherspoon. But let's say 70% of the time when we know what they're going to do, I think you're going to see Manwari and Witherspoon on their 2 most dangerous guys. Now, with that being said, B-Walt, they got Jennings too, and he's been a pain in our side, and I like him. I mean, I would love to have him. He is aggressive. I think he's a gamer. He doesn't probably get as much love in the NFL as he should because I think he is an elite wide receiver. But again, I think we got Job and we got Woolen. We got guys that match up all across the board. So again, this is going to be on Purdy. He's going to throw some to us, and we got to come down with them. We can't let them come down with those big plays. And it's going to come down to 4 or 5 plays this game.
Yeah. Well, Paul, before we let you go, just a quick non-Seahawks related question here, but B. Walt and I were just talking about Pete Carroll and the tough season that has kind of unfolded in Vegas. They're 2-14. I mean, if they win and they finish with 3 wins, do you think he's back, or is this going to be it for Pete and the Raiders?
I know history suggests in the NFL, perception is more important than reality. And if the perception is that Pete's lost the team, or the perception is he can't coach anymore, they're going to fire him. No one knows behind the scenes his relationship with Davis and the other senior management. But the way the season's gone and the players that he's brought in, and for it to go the way it went, man, that perception is not good. So I don't know. I mean, you'll know Monday, because I think that will be a quick one, because they'll have to make a quick switch. My gut tells me he doesn't survive this. It's hard to survive 2-14 teams when you claim that you were a playoff contending team. So I think him just making that statement probably puts him in a tough spot.
Yeah, a lot on the line this weekend, and it starts tomorrow with the Seahawks. Paul, I know you're going to see and talk a lot with B-Walt, so thanks for getting the extra dose of him today with us.
I can't wait. B-Walt, you want me to pick you up? I got you, brother.
You got me. I'm more excited. We're going to do our last putting session of the year. Actually, hopefully not last. Hopefully last. We want the rest of the games, the home games. So, yeah.
What happened last time in that putting session, by the way?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah. Paul practiced it. I think he's up there right now taking this call.
But Paul, are you upstairs practicing the putting right now?
I'm in Dallas, but I'm coming back bright and early tomorrow morning, so it'll be good.
All right, thanks, Paul. Safe travels, and they can hear you tomorrow on the Seahawks pre- and post-game.
I look forward to it. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, Paul Moyer, good insight as well. Yeah, quick turnaround for everyone. The Saturday game, the crew back in action tomorrow, so that pregame coverage begins at 2 o'clock right here before that 5 o'clock kickoff, Seahawks and 49ers. Some good insight there from Paul. We'll certainly get back to a lot of that. Love the quarterback insight there about Darnold, and you're right. He was kind of emphatic about the Darnold confidence and that he could go down as having one of the best seasons as a Seahawk in terms of pure talent as well. I was surprised that he was so emphatic with that.
I'm glad he clarified that, because I couldn't remember exactly, but it was something along one of the best in Seahawks history, and it was most talented, and that's exactly what he said, because he's so right, though. He is. You watched Darnold, even up until late, he can make all of the throws. He can move in the pocket. He really can do it all, and so that's a I like how he put that as just kind of the most all-around talented ability to do it all, really, quarterback in Seahawks history.
Yeah, Football Fridays are powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Well, one aspect of what the Niners have done really well lately is kind of counter to what the Seahawks have been doing on offense. So we'll dive into that. It deals with the math that Paul Moyer was trying to calculate as you guys were getting into that. But it is something the Seahawks did really well at the start of the season, and they have struggled with immensely over these past few games. We'll dive into that and the importance of what it could mean in tomorrow's matchup. Mike Lefko and Brian Walters with you. It's Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
All teed up.
It all comes down to this.
The final game of the regular season.
One game.
To decide who wins the NFC West Division.
And the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Meaning if the Seahawks win, the road to the Super Bowl runs through Lumen Field in Seattle.
You can't do that unless you win the next one.
Seahawks 49ers tomorrow. Kickoff at 5. Pregame at 2.
This should be fun.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
It's the best time of the year. Toyota-thon. Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton are providing you with large savings and the widest selection of inventory on Toyota favorites like the 2025 Tacoma, leasing at just $259 a month with $39.99 due at signing. The 2026 Tundra, financing at 2.99% APR, up to 72 months, and $1,000 bonus cash. The gas and hybrid RAV4s and the Corolla Cross. It's Toyota-thon. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit ToyotaofKirkland.com and ToyotaofRenton.com. Offers valid until January 5th, 2026. Excludes taxes, titles, license, dealer accessories, and $200 negotiable dealer documentation fee. Model 7540.
O'Brien. Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. Day and Night gives you a free furnace or water heater with installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace or water heater from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. DayandNight.net.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing.
Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing.
Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
This is the home of the Seahawks. Gonna let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN Seattle Sports.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
A new exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card is your opportunity to go from cardholder to ticket holder for the FIFA World Cup 2026. For a limited time, when you're approved for a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card, you're eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more today at BFA.com/card FWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America NA in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
The new year is finally here, and you could kick the new year off right by getting in shape and making Top Fitness your first stop. Hey, Brock, you're here with my friends at Top Fitness, where their stores are celebrating the new year with some great deals. You could take your New Year's resolution seriously with the very best fitness gear there is set up in your home by our professional installers. They sell the best quality products available. Brands like Precor, True, Octane, Inspire, and Hyrox. Come in now and check out the best deal of deals on treadmills. Their Precor 885 treadmills that are lease returns normally sell for over $13,000, now only $36.99, including a full 3-year warranty. This is the same commercial treadmill sold to health clubs worldwide. And every new treadmill, elliptical, and home gym, well, they're all on sale. They got the largest selection of home fitness equipment in Washington, and their staff will show you why. It's no secret why everybody from pro athletes to personal trainers love their stores. Locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or visit topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got Mean Text coming up at 4:45. Yeah, we're done at 5 o'clock today. Mike Lefko and Brian Walters here with you on Wyman and Bob. It's the Duke's Mayo Bowl at 5 o'clock. Celebrate that. I introduced you to the concept of a mayonnaise bath. I know the second you're done, are you going to go watch the old clips of the mayonnaise baths?
Might go buy a turkey sandwich. Put a little mayo on it.
I'm making you hungry. That's usually
go
happens
watch
to me
the
when we're talking about
mayonnaise
something.
Gatorade thing. Yeah. Motivated. It's going to be a mayo kind of afternoon.
I can't wait to picture you just sitting there eating a turkey sandwich drenched in mayonnaise while watching the end of the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Who was the quarterback that used to just eat mayonnaise out of the bottle? Was that?
Oh, it was Will Levis.
Will Levis.
Well, he would put it in his coffee, too.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and the Titans thought he would be a good guy to draft, so that goes to show how much good scouting they do.
What is mayo? Is mayo like egg white or something?
Oh, I don't even know. It seems like a very simple concept, but I don't know what it's comprised of. I know Bump and Stacy, didn't they get into this, whether it's a spread or a sauce? And then there's something with
condiment.
Yeah, is it a condiment or a sauce? And it's going to open ourselves up to a lot of arguing and people telling us definitively it's one thing or another. According to the very quick AI overview, and then we can also go to Wikipedia as well, the two most accurate sources on the internet. Mayo is common shorthand for mayonnaise, a thick, creamy condiment made from an emulsion of egg yolk, oil, and an acid-like vinegar or lemon juice, plus seasonings.
You know why Duke's Mayo Bowl loves this, or Duke's Mayo?
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Talking about it. What other bowl?
Just like
we
the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Name? Yeah.
Have you seen all the craziness around the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
Yeah,
it's a phenomenon.
Gosh, I love Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
They're good.
Bowl season.
Brings me back.
Yeah, it's nice. All right, so we're done at 5 o'clock. Mean Text at 4:45. But the issue, or maybe lack of an issue, depending on how you see it, Brian, and we just talked about it with Paul, and you can go hear that conversation on our podcast page after the show. Go to the Wyman and Bob show page on seattlesports.com. Paul was weighing in on the offense, or maybe the lack of offense in the first half, especially over these last 5 games, where you look at the Panthers game, and it just adds on to the recent trends of 3 points or 6 points or a lack of a touchdown. The Rams game, the only one in that spread, in that time frame, I said spread now, I was talking about Mayo, the only one in that time frame where they had an offensive touchdown. They had one in the Vikings game, then they had another one that was a defensive touchdown. They had one touchdown in the first half against the Rams, and then they had nothing after that first drive. So the touchdowns just haven't been there. Now the question I throw out to you, the texters, 866-979-3776, or to you, Brian, is that worrisome, or has the defense done enough to show you, well, look, it doesn't matter because the defense is good enough to keep us in it until the offense shows up?
Well, yeah, I think it's worrisome if the offense doesn't show up at all. I think that's the big thing. I mean, obviously, that's the easy, obvious answer. But when you look at some of these games, right? Let's go back to last week. You score 3 points in the first half. Well, all right, the offense doesn't have a good game plan. The Panthers got them. They're overmatched. They can't compete. Well, you won 27-10. So you scored 24 points in that second half. So the offense has a good plan. They're doing something. Whether you go in at halftime, and again, you don't make revolutionary changes. You don't just totally change the playbook, but you might be like, hey, when we get this look, we're running this play. Let's tweak it. Let's block this guy. Like something like that. Okay. Rams, you're down 7. You score 7 points in the first half against the Rams. Well, you win 38-37. Yeah. So I can't say that was the defense keeping you in that one.
No.
Right?
Well, with the yardage
and everything.
Not the defense.
But the offense, 31 points in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So you can complain about slow starts all you want, but when it all comes down to it, as long as the offense has a game plan that at some point shows up. Because there's no you're 13-3. There's no trend saying when you start slow, you're going to lose this many. You've lost way more than when you've started fast, right? There's not. When you look at it, when this team's losing at halftime, they're 3-2. They've been losing 5 times at halftime. They are 3-2. When you're leading at halftime, you're 8-1. So you've been leading more. So, I mean, that just shows you're winning more, but it's not a huge difference. I mean, you're still winning. And then obviously when you're tied at halftime, they're 2-0 to round it off. So there's no trends saying it. It's just, I think the good part about it is the offense is going to show up at some point. I mean, that's the gist of it. And this is a defensive team, right? The defense is going to keep doing these games, and they have. First half, when the offense hasn't really performed, hasn't showed up, but look, the defense, that's what their job is. That's what they're there for is, hey, we're going to keep these guys off the board. You guys figure it out and then start dominating these games. Because some of the biggest, well, if you take away, the Saints was the biggest domination, I believe. And the Commanders was dominating. 38 points at half.
Yeah.
They had 38 points at half against the Saints. The Commanders, what they have? 31 points at half. Cardinals, they had 38 points at half. This is all early in the year. So this team can start fast.
Well, and quality of competition, I think maybe you would point to.
You could point to that, but I mean, let's look at the Falcons and Titans and Vikings.
Yeah.
Those are teams you didn't score 38 in the first half against. But yes, those are pretty bad teams, the Saints. And but anyway, it's like, I just think it's a very overhyped thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Oh, this team doesn't, these slow starts, they're going to kill me. Who cares? Like, they figure it out, and they get it done in the second half.
We were joking, right? Why don't they just call better plays in the first half?
Yeah, that's what they were doing. Yeah, the game plan here, Kubiak goes into these and says, hey, guys, like you said this. It was great. We're going to call all our bad plays in the first half, okay? Let them think we're going to run these bad plays, and then the good ones come out in the second half. Like, no, it just doesn't work like that. Like, you're going to run your stuff. You're going to run what you've game planned all week. And look, the adjustments you make at halftime, great, fantastic. But when it comes down to it, it's about, one, you've shown that you can kind of outlast teams. When you can dominate teams in the third and fourth quarter like that shows something about your team. You're in good shape.
Yeah.
Maybe teams, you wear them out a little bit. That's what this Kubiak offense does. When you run the ball 30 times a game, 35 times a game, whatever it is, 25, 30, like that's going to wear on a team. And that's the beauty of the run game.
And maybe that's the answer too, because we were joking about it to the extent of, well, yes, obviously there's no answer to other than just, well, we have to execute better, as Sam Darnold said. Or, no, obviously we want to score more in the first half. When they're asking the Seahawks, hey, how can you start better? What's happening with the slow starts? The answer is not, well, we're trying things out. We're testing things in the first half. Obviously, a team would love to score a lot in the first half like they did in the first half of the season. But I think what you zeroed in on there is probably what leads to winning over the course of an entire game. They know you're playing 60 minutes, softening up a defense over the course of 2+ quarters. So then by the time that third quarter comes around, maybe they're a little slow to recover on play action. Maybe all those run looks early that are frustratingly perhaps leading to 3 and outs, or if they're getting minimal yardage and you're punting, that has shown a look that all of a sudden on a play action in the third quarter, the defense thinks run and someone's open that we've seen. Maybe a pass is just getting in there that Darnold saw a better look that he wasn't seeing in the first half. So it's not an issue yet.
Yep.
I think the only reason we bring this up constantly is because the quality of competition, where, yes, you're getting off to slow starts against the Titans and the Falcons and the Vikings and the Colts. Okay, well, what happens if you get off to a slow start against a good offense like the 49ers? And that's the great unknown that looms until, I guess tomorrow, because we don't know until we see it. But when you play a team like the 49ers, who do have a potent offense, they average 42 points over these last 3 games, is that going to be where it becomes problematic? And I think that's the great what if.
Yeah, and again, what I have to stress is there's no common theme for the year that they've started slow.
Right.
That's the thing. The offense has shown it can start fast, and it has started fast. It started very fast. I mean, I think there was a drought going into this season of, they hadn't scored an opening drive touchdown in however many games it was. I can't remember the number, but this offense they scored opening drives in 2 or 3 games in a row. So they can start fast, and they've shown it. They can start slow, and they've shown it. They could also finish slow. And they've shown that. Yeah. And then they can finish fast. They've shown every single possibility on how to win a game as far as offensively. So that's why it doesn't bother me. If this was a whole theme the whole year, then it's like, okay, something's got to break. Something's got to change. But it's really not that.
You're right. We have seen season-long themes with lesser Seahawks teams, like a lack of run defense or an offense that consistently would not have anything in the second half. Those were teams that you could tell there was a problem because it had been there all year. This, you're right, 13 wins, tying the most in franchise history in a regular season. there's not a lot to point to say, well, there's a concerning trend there. But it's something that's just popped up. So, we bring it up because this game has the potential to be a shootout. We'll see what happens in this one. 5 o'clock tomorrow, big kickoff coming between the Seahawks and the 49ers, the 1 seed on the line. And, we're all excited about it, so we'll keep talking about it. We're going to give our final predictions coming up around 4 o'clock. But up next, there was a curious case for our WHYMAN of the Week, one I never really expected to talk about on this program, but we're going to talk about it. That's coming up next. Mike Lefko, Brian Walters with you. Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
All teed up.
It all comes down to this.
The final game of the regular season.
One game.
To decide who wins the NFC West Division.
And the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Meaning if the Seahawks win, the road to the Super Bowl runs through Lumen Field in Seattle.
You can't do that unless you win the next one.
Seahawks 49ers tomorrow. Kickoff at 5. Pregame at 2.
This should be fun.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation, so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But when you can't work, care for your kids, or even put food on the table, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to support Northwest Hope and Healing. Our mission is to provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. For more than 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help make a difference in our community. Join us on Saturday, January 31st, for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, gourmet cuisine, and inspiration at Mary Hill Winery in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
John Curley here. You know that moment when your house feels colder than it should? You turn up the thermostat and nothing? For over a decade, I've trusted the team at Home Comfort Alliance. They show up when they say they will, and they get straight to work, and they do it right. They've been keeping homes comfortable for over 40 winters. Remember, for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, including standby generators, call the Comfort People, Home Comfort Alliance, or visit homecomfortalliance.com.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. Touchdown, Seahawks! Ken Walker III. Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with 0 investor losses, and yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I was able to achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. I'm surprised and relieved every time I look in the mirror. You need to know what that feels like. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there is no one I would trust more than Advanced Hair Restoration. I experienced their exceptional standard of care firsthand. Your comfort and your results are the top priority of the entire Advanced Hair team. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. Discover what meeting your resolutions could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Why, man? Why?
Lunch has been canceled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
He's a habitual line stepper.
What were you thinking? What are you doing?
Why are you the way that you are?
It's the Why Man of the Week.
WHYMAN is presented by Mazda of Everett. And we were kind of joking, Brian, about these bowl games and the zany antics that occur during a game like the Duke's Mayo Bowl or the Pop-Tarts Bowl that has just become a viral sensation. I mean, it literally captured the imagination of the entire internet last year when they debuted this Pop-Tart mascot that got microwave, quote, alive. Really, it was a mascot, then a giant life-size Pop-Tart came out. They expanded to 3 Pop-Tarts this season, although, did you see, controversially, one of the losing Pop-Tarts that's supposed to be microwaved jumped off and disappeared. So only 2 got microwaved. Oh, you gotta dive into the history of the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
What flavor Pop-Tarts are these?
They are crazy ones. It was like a strawberries and cream one that did not want to be microwaved, and then it was like a chocolate. There's a whole lore and backstory that I can't even give justice to right now. But I'm saying all that to say that during halftime of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, I'm sure no one expected this answer from ESPN studio analyst Booger McFarland when asked about his favorite bowl game memory.
Well, your favorite memory playing in a bowl game?
Yeah, my first experience in the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. First time getting per diem, $987. Went to one nice establishment, and I gave it all away. They have some good wings, though.
Lemon pepper wings.
Lemon pepper
right?
wings.
Yeah, that's...
Yes, me and Lou Williams have something in common.
So everyone hears that, and then there's one famous example that now everyone's drawing the parallel to, oh, he's talking about a famous strip club in Atlanta called Magic City. And they have great wings, and everyone knows this because in 2020, during the height of the pandemic, when all these teams were quarantining and making sure there were safe ways to play, the NBA, remember they went down to Orlando, and you had to go through a very strict quarantine process before you could get onto the court. There was a 10-day quarantine. Now, Lou Williams was down there, and he was allowed to leave because his grandmother passed away. So they gave him permission to go home to Atlanta to attend the funeral. Well, lo and behold, after that, he was photographed at this, establishment, as Booger McFarland's saying, with a bag of the wings, lemon pepper, as they saw, and then he got in trouble going back to the NBA bubble. He had to quarantine again because he was caught with these wings, and they were so good, they named some wings after him, and Booger McFarland making that reference, everyone's like, oh, we know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, Booger. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of shocked by that. That's what he brings up.
On a broadcast. On a broadcast. Halftime broadcast.
I want to see the reactions everyone around him.
Well, how about the host knew exactly what he was talking about, too? He kind of
He's like, yeah.
he let him on. He fed him. Yeah. So Lou Williams, no regrets over the Magic City Wings. And that's what Booger McFarland was talking about. Can you believe, though, how much he spent? Now, I don't know if he meant he spent all of that right there. But he said he got $987 in per diem because they're probably there for like a week.
A week, yeah.
So did he spend all of that? That's what I need clarification on.
Sounds like it.
Booger, you spent all of that on wings?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's say that. Yeah, all on wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully you have no revelations like that. If you do, let's save it for not here. Because, I don't know, maybe, hey, it's the halftime of the Pop-Tarts Bowl in that crazy week between Christmas and New Year's where no one really knew what was going on. It's always the strangest week of the year where you're not sure if people are working and everyone just kind of stumbles around in a daze. We do some shows. There's that in between. No one's at work. Maybe some people are working. But it's that weird funk of bowl games being on in the middle of the day on like a Tuesday. And this is what that was. So there you go.
Wow.
There's maybe the most interesting revelation made during a halftime of a bowl game.
Yeah. Wow. Must be some good wings.
Are you going to go find out? I mean,
No, I'll take Booger's word for it.
There
How
we go.
about
I
that?
say, I don't want to put any words in your mouth there, but now you seem a little curious about those wings.
No, Booger told me.
Okay.
They're good. Perfect.
Booger
Good
McFarland
deal.
told you. And Lou Williams.
And
He
Lou
broke
Williams.
quarantine and got in trouble to go get those wings. So that was our first WHYMAN. Now, the second one is it's more of a series of questions, and it's not about Lamar Jackson himself, but kind of the line of questioning from these reporters. And there have been a lot of reports and sources and things coming out behind the scenes because the Ravens have endured a tough season and a really frustrating one to this point. Now, they still have a chance to win and get into the playoffs, but now some things have come out. There's stories about Lamar Jackson and maybe doesn't have the best work ethic right now, and he's been hurt, and that's frustrated some of the Ravens coaching staff, and supposedly there's some friction between John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. So one of these questions this week, Lamar was asked a series of questions about his future and if he's still committed to the Ravens.
Does Lamar want to be here? Is he where he wants to be? What
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. 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 I don't even know where that come from.
Right.
Probably because, some people think they're just waiting for you to sign a contract and get something done with it.
But we got to focus on winning right now. So contract talk can be after the season or whatever, but during the season, I'm locked in.
So there was that, and then there was something else where I can try to find it here. It was about supposedly he stays up late to play video games. I don't know where someone got that info. Here was the follow-up to this.
I heard I'll be playing the game at like 1 or 2 in the morning. I don't even do that during the summer, so I don't know where that come from either. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know where that come from.
Yeah, Lamar, they said that you've fallen asleep at meetings. How would you respond to that?
Do you think Harbaugh let me fall asleep in his meeting? That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm right in the front. Man, I don't know, man. It is what it is, though. Like I said, it's just noise.
Yeah. What I think is an issue here, and Lamar Jackson is in a unique situation. Not a lot of athletes do this. We know Bobby Wagner famously is his own agent. Lamar is his own agent, and he's a very high-profile guy playing a high-profile position and acting as his own agent. And maybe you can give a little bit more of a enlightening aspect of this, because Wyman was good at shedding light on the fact that an agent is often there to kind of put out that noise and to be the buffer and the mediator between a team that maybe they're trying to get their agenda across when it comes to a contract negotiation, where these things can be pretty brutal because a team's going to want to pay you what they feel you're worth, and the player's going to feel like they're worth more, and an agent's that kind of mediator. And when you're your own agent, you can't really put personal feelings aside and deal with outside noise and blocking that out and not letting it get to the player. So I do wonder if a lot of this has to do with the fact that Lamar is his own agent. And perhaps there are some sources from the Ravens leaking things out or spreading some false information to try to lower that negotiating process or make it easier to negotiate a new contract with him.
Yeah. So two things. One, it's how do these reporters expect him to answer? That's the thing.
Right. And that's why we threw this in WHYMAN.
You've been falling asleep in meetings.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do? Yeah, nah, I have. I've been sleeping through them all. Really don't care about this Ravens team anymore. And yeah, I'm checked out. How do you expect him to answer that question? Of course he's gonna be defensive about it. Of course he's gonna be like, no, that's not true. I think it's terrible questions. I don't know why you'd ever ask anyone about that because you know the answer you're gonna get. So, but two, you said it. These have to come from something. These aren't just brought out of thin air. So, is he falling asleep during meetings? I don't know. But there's probably something that people don't like that he's doing in that facility, and again, being injured is tough as on a player. It is one of the worst experiences you can go through because you're not available for your teammates. And a lot of times people start questioning you. Hey, why are you not healthy yet? Like, this injury was supposed to be a 2-week thing. Why has it been 4 weeks? And a lot of times that falls back on you. And you're like, well, I've been working hard, I think. Like, I think I've been doing everything I'm supposed to do. And then rumors can start going around the facility, like Lamar missed his treatment or, whatever it is Lamar's doing. I don't know what's going on over there in Baltimore, but I don't think those start out of thin air, though. There's some kind of source to that. Is he attending walkthroughs? Is he just saying no? Is he doing everything he should as an injured player? Because whenever you're injured, you should be doing extra. Like, you should be in there showing, no, I care. I'm in every game plan. I know I'm keeping my brain sharp because I will come back. So I'm staying football ready. Is Lamar doing that? To me, these rumors don't come out if you aren't doing that, or if you are doing that. Yeah. If you're not staying sharp, not staying football ready, things like this won't come out. So that's my only thing. I think as an injured player, it's not easy, but it's tough to stay locked in sometimes. And I guess being the face of the franchise, people start calling you out if they see you slipping a little bit like that.
So there are some simmering tensions right now in Baltimore, and they have a huge game coming up on Sunday against the Steelers. We wanted to monitor for Lamar's future, for Mike Tomlin on the Pittsburgh side, and maybe even John Harbaugh as well. But we have to get back to the big one that awaits us. Seahawks 49ers coming up tomorrow. We'll give our keys and then final predictions coming up next. Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Yeah, it's about to go down.
Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
The NFC West and NFC number 1 seed, 2 open battles that are really settled with 1 game Saturday night.
It's all about Brock Purdy. Can you rattle him? Because when he throws interceptions, this offense just doesn't go. And quietly, Christian McCaffrey is putting together another great season, and ain't nobody really talking about him. Usually he's the guy who's hurt, who's banged up, who you're waiting to get back, and he's been solid all year.
Only on Seattle Sports.
Are your investment dollars working as hard as they should be? You've spent years building your future. Don't let outdated advice put it at risk. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. We're a veteran-owned firm proud to bring a new standard of financial care to the Seattle area. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries, ethically bound to put your interests first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. As a privately held company, we answer to you, our valued clients, not shareholders. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a customized plan. From Bellevue to Tacoma, get advice you can count on. It's time to take a fresh look at your financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. In the past 5 years, we've seen thousands of men at our clinics. Most guys tell us the same story, that in their early 50s, it's not that they couldn't function, they just needed help. They started taking Viagra, and it worked great at first. But after a few years, it stopped working. The problem is that their arteries had become more restricted since they started taking it, because Viagra does not unclog arteries. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we use acoustic wave therapy to target the real problem. We break down plaque and clear up the arteries so blood can flow like it did in your 20s. This restores function. And guys, listen to this. You won't have to take a pill anymore. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. Day and Night gives you a free furnace or water heater with installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace or water heater from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net. This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
5 49ers are questionable heading into tomorrow's matchup against the Seahawks, including left tackle Trent Williams. He has not practiced all week. Tight end George Kittle is also questionable. He has practiced. He's been a limited participant. And wide receiver Ricky Pearsall has also been a limited participant. He's listed as questionable for tomorrow. Some news that might have gone under the radar yesterday in the baseball world. Astros signed Japanese right-hander Tatsuya Imai to a 3-year, $54 million contract. And tonight, the Seattle U men's basketball program has a chance to go for the sweep of the major programs in the state. They're at number 7 Gonzaga. The Red Hawks have already knocked off the Huskies and Cougs this season.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mike Lefko and Brian Walters here with you. We're leading up to 5 o'clock. Yeah, just one more hour of us. Some might celebrate. Some might be crying tears of sadness. We're sorry. But we have to turn you over to the Duke's Mayo Bowl coming up at 5 o'clock. Wake Forest and Mississippi State. And then what Brian's been looking forward to, the mayonnaise bath for the winner after the end of this one. So B-Walt's going to race home to watch the end of that one. But because we're done at 5, we have mean texts coming up at 4:45. Get those in now, whenever, anytime until 4:54 when we have to say goodbye to you. But 866-979-3776. But before that, we are going to get to our predictions for this game. And not just who wins or loses, Brian, because, you know, that's an obvious one. We'll make that prediction. But some key stats that have kind of been at the forefront for the Seahawks season and for the 49ers as well. So we'll get our predictions coming up in about 10 minutes. But as we kind of looked at the overarching view of this, Seahawks defense, very good. Niners offense, really good, especially lately. What stands out to you about maybe one aspect of those two that will be the key to deciding this one, or could be a key matchup in this game?
There's so many key matchups. That's
so
what's
many.
so
All right, well,
fun
let's go through
about
all
this
of them.
one. That's
what are your key matchups?
Mine is going to be the tight ends. The tight ends of the 49ers. They scored the 2 touchdowns the last game that they played week 1. Is Kittle going to play? He's going to create some issues? And how did the Seahawks just kind of take those guys out of it? They haven't put up big yards, but they made some big plays. When you score a couple touchdowns, that's their red zone targets. The 49ers, more so than any team, I believe, especially week 1, were actually able to. They averaged over 8 plays per drive against the Seahawks. I think that's been something that the Seahawks have been so good at. The Rams have kind of had some long drives against them, but other than that, teams haven't been able to put together long drives consistently against this team. So to me, that's going to be a big thing. As the defense, you've been beat by the big play. You go back to the Buccaneers game, and it was the big play. It was a Emeka Egbuka big play after big play with Baker Mayfield. You go to the Rams game that they actually won the game, but you gave up 37 points. Yeah. It was the big play. It was the Puka Nacua huge plays. And so that's what killed them. If you can't, I know you can't do this, but if you took away the big plays, like you actually held them in check. But when you tried to make them drive the length of the field, it's tougher. And so that's going to be a big thing for me. And that's going to be obviously, Kittle. It's going to be the tight ends, or it's going to be, and then Purdy. Purdy's the obvious one. We can get into that one. So there's so many. You could break down every single position and say, I like this matchup or I don't like this matchup. But it's just, there's something intriguing about this matchup. The way both teams, I feel like, have kind of gone through the same thing all season with battling injuries, but overcoming those things.
As you can imagine, the NFL Live crew on ESPN spent a lot of time dissecting this game because it is monumentally important to the postseason run in the NFC and maybe the Super Bowl as well, because it does feel like the NFC is the premier conference this season. Certainly the NFC West with the 3 teams that arguably are the best in football, and the Seahawks, Rams, and 49ers. But as they're talking about this matchup, going along with the explosive plays or limiting them, Dan Orlovsky on NFL Live was kind of breaking down the key along what you were saying, Brian.
This game will come down to space. Okay, so at the starting point, the fundamental foundational piece about Kyle Shanahan's 49ers offense, create space. Different ways to create space and then take advantage of that space. Have different people that can take advantage of the space created, whether by formation, whether by action, whether by movement with certain players. The counter to that is Seattle defensively is the best defense in the league at 2 things: taking away space, tackling in space. That's going to be this matchup. Who wins that?
That thing at the end there. That solidified for me about what we've seen with this defense and everything you were mentioning about limiting explosive plays. Well, the reason they did that against the Panthers were, 2.7 yards per play over the course of the game. And then all these teams during this 6-game win streak, it's felt like they have tackled in space so well. A little dump off or a screen pass that you and Paul were talking about, where maybe in the past it would have gone for 20 or 30 yards. This team, on all levels, tackles so well in space.
They do, and last week was the perfect example of it. It was impressive. Even having, I believe it was Dowdle out on the edge and Nwosu one-on-one.
Yeah.
No, one-on-one with the Panthers running back. You don't expect that. You expect him to miss that. That's a tough play for an outside linebacker or edge rusher to make with that much space, as he said. And he gobbled him up like it was nothing, And then the other screen, you saw a little, believe it was a swing pass kind of to the right side, and Imanwari kind of fought off his block and blew up the entire play. I don't think he made the tackle on it, but he kind of cleared the way for everyone else to make it. But it's plays like that. It's just kind of, it's owning the space. I think that's a big thing is don't get pushed around in that space. And the Seahawks defense has been doing it. Julian Love has been one of the best when he's been in there healthy all year of stepping up and making open field tackles. One thing that really stood out, it was against I'm going to look this up real quick. Who was 2 weeks ago? It was
the Rams.
It was against the Rams. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sorry. And the Colts against Jonathan Taylor, too.
Okay. Yep.
Was the secondary. Look, when you're in the secondary and you have a team that's going to be run heavy and wants to run the ball and have shown the ability to break long runs, things like that, you don't sit back and wait for them, right? You're not going to sit 10, 12 yards back and let the running back get to you. And it's so hard to make a tackle. But one thing you see the secondary doing is kind of attacking the gaps. So when you're making these open field tackles, it looks like there's big gaps. And you saw it with the Rams. I thought Kyron Williams could have got free a couple times. And you're like, wow, nope, they shut him down. The Panthers, too, as well. It was the same thing. But these DBs are stepping up. They're stepping up into the gap, the only gap the running back wants to go to, where and making the tackle in that gap. So what you're doing is you're limiting your space around you, you know, because now you have a linebacker, an offensive lineman to the right of you. You have a defensive lineman and an offensive lineman to the left of you. So there's nowhere for the running back to go. So you're closing the space on him instead of waiting for this running back to get wide open space. And that's, I think, one thing that the secondary has been so good at. When you're going to stop explosive runs, you have to do it forward. You can't do it in the back end because you're not going to be able to tackle McCaffrey in the open field like that. So It's stepping up and making these plays at 5 yards as opposed to back at 10 yards where then you get the long runs.
And in that, where we're kind of diving into and trying to pinpoint every matchup that could be key or where the Niners might be able to poke through or where the Seahawks could have a bigger impact than they did in week one. What jumped out to me about week one and McCaffrey, not his rushing total. It was fine. It was 22 for 69. All right, so Seahawks did a good job. He had more receiving yards. 9 receptions, 73 yards receiving, a long of 25 yards. One of those exact things that you were just talking about that we were mentioning that hasn't happened really since then, including against those good running backs, so a Bijan Robinson or a Jonathan Taylor, who is so good in a similar situation, running after getting a short reception. We know how good McCaffrey is when he gets a sliver of space. If he can turn, get a short pass, and find some gap that he can exploit. So to me, for the Seahawks to keep doing what they're doing, I think that takes away a lot of what makes the Niners offense dangerous. And we haven't really even focused too much, today at least, I know all week we kind of have, on how suspect the Niners defense has been this season. Because it feels like a far cry from what you're used to when you talk about the Niners defense and Fred Warner, who is such a menace, and Nick Bosa, who just creates so much havoc in the backfield. He's not there. Warner's not there. They're missing a handful of other guys as well. They're dealing with some cornerbacks who are a little bit banged up. So for the Niners defense to just be mediocre to almost bad in some categories is a big advantage the Seahawks haven't had in the past.
Huge advantage. And it all starts up front. I think that's the big thing. They're one of the worst in the league getting pressure on the quarterback now. And losing Nick Bosa obviously is going to be a part of that. You're 25th in the league in pass defense. So that's where I see, when you go back to the 49ers locker room and Lenore saying, I'm going to follow JSN. Look, it's so simple when you just say it like that. But no, and hear me out here. I've been a wide receiver in this league, right? No DB can cover you for more than 4 seconds. It's so difficult. 4 or 5 seconds, you have a receiver who can run around for 4 or 5 seconds, you're going to get open, right? So if you can't put any pressure on the quarterback, then JSN's going to get open no matter what. It's done. No DB will do that. I mean, maybe, 1 out of 10 times. I always go back to one-on-ones, right? When you go one-on-ones in practice, the wide receiver wins 70 to 80% of those matchups in one-on-ones. I mean, it's wide open space, no pressure on the quarterback. The receiver has the advantage. That's it. That's where the pass rush comes in. When you can't get to Sam Darnold, JSN's going to be open. And I know Paul Moyer mentioned this earlier. JSN's going to have a big day. And I believe that too, because if you can't get to Sam Darnold, flush him out, make it uncomfortable for him, and he's sitting back there, JSN is going to route you up. That's what he does. That is what he is so good at. So that's the biggest thing for me is this 49er pass rush. And it goes backup left tackle. What's that matchup going to do? But I don't think they'll put a lot of pressure on Sam Darnold. The way this offensive line has been this season, I see that as one of the biggest advantages the Seahawks have going into this game.
Do you think the 49ers will try to press the issue then? Knowing that their defensive line has not been good, they have the fewest sacks in the NFL, their pressure rate has not been good. When teams have maybe had some success against Darnold in this offense, the Vikings and their frenetic blitzing, the Falcons tried to do that as well, and it worked for a half. Do you think we see maybe more blitzes than normal from Robert Saleh as he tries to get Darnold uncomfortable?
Yeah, I could see that because some of the mistakes you've seen Sam Darnold make are when teams put the pressure on him and Sam Darnold and teams squat on routes. Yeah, you see him. I can envision an out route by JSN, I believe, against the Rams. Sam Darnold just threw it out there, but the corner he thought would fall back, just squatted on this out route, and the cornerback picked it. I believe it was against the Rams. I don't remember exactly, but it's plays like that you can say, well, what this does, but you have to hit those blitzes. That's the thing. If you don't hit those blitzes, it's all over. And so that's where the offensive line will have a huge thing. But again, you have to find a way. It hasn't been working for the 49ers. You saw what Caleb Williams did last week, kind of scrambling around, extending the plays. doing that. If you don't hit these blitzes, then it's again, it goes to the back end. You can't guard these receivers for longer than 4 or 5 seconds. It's just not going to happen. And look, going to the very last play offensively for the Seahawks, week 1 against the 49ers, when you're driving down and you're trying to have that go-ahead score, Sam Darnold had the ball for like 1.2 seconds before Abe Lucas was hit into him, and it was a fumble, and the game was over. That was, or not 1.2, sorry, 2.2 seconds. It was drop back, boom, he was hit. And you're not going to have that. If Sam Darnold has 3 seconds there, it's a touchdown, you know. But he only, and so that's where Nick Bosa is a huge key for this 49er team to not have that. And I for some reason, I don't know if it's for some reason, but I feel very, very confident in this offense going into this game.
All right, well, we'll make our predictions now. Let's do that. Football Fridays
Love
are
it.
powered by the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. B-Walt, that leads right into it. We're going to make our predictions here for Seahawks 49ers. Let's start with one thing that the defense has done extremely well. In fact, for 25 straight games, they've not allowed a 100-yard rusher. Do you think that streak continues? Do they not allow a 100-yard rusher again in this one?
No, yeah, they won't. They won't allow a 100-yard rusher. McCaffrey will probably get to his, I think he'll be in the 80s, maybe. You know, he'll probably have 20 carries, 80 yards. There's no one else you need to really. Brian Robinson Jr., he's barely in there because McCaffrey wants all the snaps, it feels like. And I think McCaffrey is also a little bit banged up. I do. You know, I don't think he's on the injury report, but he did have something going last week. He was hurt, and I think that'll be a big thing for him. He won't be. I don't think he's going to be full 100%. So, but no, I think that streak continues. Was it? Would you say 25?
25.
25. I think that's going to continue.
It was,
I think
James Cook last year against
James
the Bills.
Cook last year. How about that? Yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and say under 100.
Now, not part of the initial question, but do you think McCaffrey total his all-purpose yards over 100? Yeah, and I think what we were just saying, I'm more concerned about him as a receiving weapon because of what he does in space when you can just dump it off to him 5 yards over the middle, and if you're not wrapping up and tackling well, we've seen big gains. But I think the Seahawks have done that incredibly well over these past few weeks and really this entire season to limit those explosives. So I agree with you there. Actual rusher, I think the streak continues. McCaffrey probably gets over 100 all-purpose yards, but if you limit him to kind of what you did in week 1, it should still go well. Okay, for the Seahawks offense, two-parter, part 1 here. How many touchdowns does Sam Darnold throw for?
Woo, I like this. I think Sam Darnold's going to throw for 2 touchdowns. That's it. I'm going to go 2.
That's it.
I think, I'm going to go 2. I mean, that's a good amount. I like 2. But, yeah, 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to get a deep one to JSN. And, you know, let's get Barner in the mix as well. Let's get very specific about it. Let's say A.J. Barner's going to get another big touchdown for the Seahawks. And then I think they're going to rush for a couple touchdowns. Is that the next question?
No, the second part of this is
here we go.
How many giveaways does Sam Darnold have?
Look, all right. The way this team's been, they've been able to overcome giveaways like no team I've ever seen. And so like it's just part of I never want Sam Darnold to get rid of his aggression downfield. Get rid of his his ability just to, put the ball in tight windows and stuff. Like that's what he's been all season long. Has it paid off? A lot of the times it has, sometimes it hasn't. So, look, Sam Darnold's going to give it to him once, maybe. Let's go 1 interception from Sam Darnold.
Interception.
Let's just be real about that. Will the ball get put on the ground? That shouldn't. That's the one thing about Sam Darnold that you want to see improve is the fumbles. A little better ball security in the pocket. And again, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. Like week 1, going back to that, it was quick. It was quick. It was on him. He was ready to throw. You can't really feel that. So
I don't think he fumbles because I don't think the 49ers are going to have much pressure. So we talked about they have the fewest sacks in the NFL. Yes, Sam back in.
Is this a Sam Darnold giveaway or is this a Seahawks giveaway?
No, a Sam Darnold specific giveaway.
Okay.
Because he has had the
1
most.
interception, no fumbles. Boom.
Okay.
Done. That's the prediction.
I think 2 interceptions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And 2 to 3 touchdowns. Because I think it is going to be a higher scoring game. Yeah, kind of hearkening back to Niners-Bears like you're talking about. Williams is chucking the ball over the field, put up big numbers against this 49ers defense. Darnold will probably do that. But also, we've seen him be aggressive, and you have that one inexplicable, what was that? And maybe it's a tip ball, or maybe it's like the first play of the Panthers game, where I think that was the worst throw he had, was not the interception in the Panthers game. That first throw where J.C. Horn has it hit him in the chest, and he drops it. There's going to be one of those. And if the 49ers don't drop it, there's one, and then maybe a tight window throw that gets picked off. But it does feel like it could be a lot of possessions, a lot of scoring, so he does enough to make up for it.
Okay, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of tight windows.
No,
I think there's a lot
wide
of
open
room.
for days.
I mean, Caleb Williams didn't throw an interception last week. He was. I think this defense is really struggling a lot. I mean, the offense obviously has been explosive the last 3 games, but the defense has been just as bad almost. So just as bad in the opposite direction, I guess.
Yes.
So it's. No, I don't see it.
What about, since we're talking about the rushing touchdowns, you think there'll be a couple of those? Do the Seahawks have a player rush for over 100 yards for the 3rd straight week? And it's been a different one each time.
It has been. I know. You saw K9 the first time. You saw Charbonnet last week. And so we're gonna have Darnold throw for 2 touchdowns, and then we're gonna have, this is a K9, back to K9. We're gonna go every other.
He's gonna go 100.
K9's gonna go over 100.
Okay,
we're gonna do that with a touchdown.
All right. Yep. I don't know what to make about this run game. It's been good, but the 49ers, the aspect of their defense that is good is their run defense. Yep. It's like top 6 or so. Yep. I think it's gonna be more balanced, and I feel like you're gonna have maybe 70 yards from K9, 50 to 60 from Zach Charbonnet. So they get over 100 as a team, maybe 120, 130 yards rushing. But I don't think an individual does it. So unfortunately that ends. But the run game does enough to get the ball downfield, to capitalize on key situations, and to punch in a couple of touchdowns. So I'm going to say no single player. All right, how about this? So at one point, B-Walt, it looked like JSN could break the single season receiving record. He was on pace at one point. It was like 7 weeks into the season. Well, now that's not going to happen. But if JSN has 125 yards receiving, he will tie Antonio Brown for the 5th most yards in a season. So I guess my question would not be 125. Does he get 126? Does he go over or under 126 yards receiving and then end up as the 5th most receiving yards in a single season?
Yes.
Yes.
Over? That's easy.
Yeah,
over.
Okay.
Over. Yes, he will get that. I think it's going to be the JSN show. Back to the old first half of the season Seahawks. And like I said, JSN over the top. There's a lot of weaknesses in the middle of the field and actually the Seahawks got the 49ers week 1 again. And again, we're using week 1 as an example. A lot has changed since then.
Yeah.
But again, I think a lot has changed for the worse for the 49ers. All the Fred Warner out, with Nick Bosa out. So I think there's going to be even more voids in this defense that JSN can expose.
He did have 124 yards in week 1.
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. Perfect.
I'm with you. I think, am I going to say like 130 to 135? Yeah, for JSN. And again, maybe like 10 or 11 receptions, especially if Lenore tries to follow him all over the field like he said he would. I don't think he will, especially after we heard from Robert Saleh. But yeah, all right, we're high on JSN here. We're very optimistic about that. So he's going to finish as the 5th leading receiver in a single season in NFL history.
Love
if
that.
he does that.
Top
So
5, huge.
that's something to watch for. Yeah, if he needs 126 to pass Antonio Brown. Now, there's a ton of guys in between him right now and that, so he'll probably shoot up the all-time list of top single-season receiving yardage, but we'll see where he ends up. Needs 126 to crack that top 5. All right, Brian, do the Seahawks win the turnover battle? Because that has caused them some issues this year. The giveaways, one of the worst in the NFL. Do they have a positive turnover margin after this one?
Well, I will say that, yes, it's caused them issues, but they're still 13-3 with those turnover battles. So it hasn't been that big of an issue, I guess, if you're putting it that way. But, yes, Seahawks will win the turnover battle. Go back. They can make Purdy make a mistake. They really can. And they got him twice week 1. Purdy, Ernest Jones, I believe, got him over the middle on a dig route. If I remember, Ernest Jones jumped up, picked it off, and then Josh Jobe got another one, a deeper throw that they kind of fooled Purdy. And they can do that. And again, it's gonna start with the pressure. To me, that's where all this is why I don't think Darnold's going to throw an interceptions, because there's not going to be pressure. This is why I think Purdy is going to throw a couple interceptions, because they will be able to get pressure on him, especially no Trent Williams.
All right, I guess I'm going to say a wash then. They're gonna tie, because if I stand behind the 2 interceptions from Darnold, I do think that it's at least multiple for Purdy.
There you go.
So I can't just all of a sudden backtrack and say it's not going to happen. So I think it's a split there. Darnold will throw a couple. Purdy will definitely throw 2, at least 2, and maybe they get a fumble as well. But for now, I'm going to say
he's going to be tough to get to. I will say that.
Yeah, and that's why I think it will be tough to force a fumble on him. He can scramble well. He can avoid pressure well. All right. to the end here, the obvious one, the one that looms as we kind of break it all down and gave our predictions there. What does that culminate in the end? Who wins this matchup?
Could you imagine if all those predictions I did, and I said the 49ers are going to win?
That's what we do at the end to build the drama.
Yeah, like, oh, no, JSN over 100. Yeah, 2 touchdowns for Darnold. No intercept, but 49ers win. No, all right. Yeah, Seahawks will win.
You get a lot of mean texts that way.
I would get a lot of mean texts that way, but I'm going to get them anyway. So,
That's true.
Why does it matter?
Okay.
Seahawks are going to – are we doing score predictions?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Whew.
I'll write it down right now.
All right. Score prediction.
Yep.
This is going to hold true, too, for tomorrow's our little pregame show that we got, too. I think we got a battle going between all of us, so I need a good one.
Okay.
I am going to go Seahawks 31, 49ers 20.
Okay. I am thinking along those lines as well. 49ers 21. Yeah, 3 touchdowns. Ooh. All right. 34-21 Seahawks. There we go. High scoring, and of course, then it'll be like a 9-3 game. But those are our predictions for Seahawks 49ers. Coming up, we have to hear about one thing that kind of took over. It was a sideshow, but it became almost the story of the end of Seahawks Panthers. We're going to sweep the dial, hear about it next. This is Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
All teed up. It all comes down to this.
The final game of the regular season. One game.
To decide who wins the NFC West Division.
And the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Meaning if the Seahawks win, the road to the Super Bowl runs through Lumen Field in Seattle.
You can't do that unless you win the next one.
Seahawks 49ers tomorrow. Kickoff at 5. Pregame at 2.
This should be fun.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earn. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Hey everyone, I'm here for Seattle U men's basketball. Next up for the Redhawks, Gonzaga. This is going to be big. Grab your tickets for Seattle U versus Gonzaga January 17th at Climate Pledge Arena. Go to seattleu.com/tickets. Redhawks rising.
Don't miss the Daniel Jeremiah Show, presented by Marquee Data.
I think he's been awesome.
Tuesday mornings at 8:30 with Brock and Salk.
If this is where he is right now, he could win an MVP.
Only on Seattle Sports.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Avatar Fire and Ash has arrived.
I am the fire!
Get your 3D tickets now for the greatest chapter of the biggest saga in history.
Whatever happens, protect his family.
Critics rave it's by far the best Avatar movie.
If your father and I do not return, you go as far and as fast as you can.
Movies don't get any bigger than this. Avatar Fire and Ash, rated PG-13, now playing.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed, or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start January 7th. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes while giving you a head start on 2026. Earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
We got mean texts coming up at 4:45. A few more chances to get those in. 866-979-3776. But some good stuff to get to here in Sweeping the Dial, including yesterday when Clint Kubiak was asked, well, hey, who are your parents rooting for tomorrow? Because his younger brother, Clay, is the 49ers offensive coordinator.
Great question. Hell with them. Okay. We're worried about ourselves. I don't know who they're going for. That's tough duty. But very blessed to have their support, and it will be a cool moment for them this weekend.
Who do you think they're rooting for? How do you divvy that up if you're the parents and you have one son who's an offense coordinator on one team and one son who's the offense coordinator on the other?
Well, you're rooting for a shootout. That's what you're doing.
True.
You're rooting for a 56-55 game, all offensive showing. Last person with the ball wins. That's what you're doing.
Okay.
It's easy.
I guess it's a good thing they're not players, because then you have to wear the awkward combined jersey. You have to stitch that together.
How do you wear
it looks
a coach's
terrible,
jersey?
right? So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
you can get away with that, because who wants to see a half 49ers, half Seahawks jersey? That would be an abomination. That should never exist anywhere. So hopefully that would never exist. And good thing that, yes, the sons are coordinators, and maybe their dad's just to be like, I don't care. I was more impressive than any of you were anyway in my coaching career. So
pretty impressive too. I mean, both
they have a family like that.
Yeah. And obviously the 49ers are the hottest offense right now in the league, and Clint Kubiak, number 2 scoring offense in the league. So
imagine
both being very successful.
Yeah, imagine that lineage. Your dad is a longtime famous head coach. 2 sons are offensive coordinators. Like, what happens after that? The sons of the younger Kubiaks then have to follow in their footsteps?
So I'm going to throw something out there.
Yeah.
If, let's just say, hypothetically, Clint Kubiak gets a head coaching job next year.
Yes.
Do you think he takes his brother with him to be the OC?
Good question. There's also Klein Kubiak. I knew there was another one.
Yeah.
They're all K names, and they're all like offensive coaches. Right now, he is a national scout for the Cowboys.
Okay.
But yeah, you think if one gets the head coaching job, they take the other with you?
You would think. Be something.
Well, the problem is, though, they're both offensive coordinators. So wouldn't one of these two, like if Clay gets the job or Clint gets the job somewhere, wouldn't he just be his own OC?
Maybe, but you got to hire an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what a problem to deal with.
What a problem.
Sweeping the dial.
All right, so towards the end of Seahawks-Panthers, it was well in hand. It was, a blowout where you can have fun with this stuff. And the CBS cameras noticed a Sam Darnold lookalike. In fact, Ian Eagle cleverly dubbed him Stan Darnold. It was his twin brother, his long-lost twin brother. And Sam Darnold was asked yesterday if he noticed his twin in the stands against the Panthers.
That was good, man. That was good. No, that was epic. I don't know who that guy is, but hopefully one day I can meet him and maybe sign a jersey for him.
Now, he probably didn't notice during the game. I'm sure social media, he saw the clip afterwards, but it became the funniest part of that game, and the cameras kept going back to him, and then that realization of everyone watching text the guy if they know him, and then he realizes that everyone's texting him. He realizes he's on TV, so he gets excited, and he was really excited too. I've never seen someone as excited as that.
Yeah, that was the best. When he was showing his phone, you could just see him showing his text and everyone finding out, and he should be at every game. I think the Seahawks should find him, get him to every game. I think that's kind of funny. Good little side story.
They could do the Mariners in the playoffs in Detroit, there was the Cal Raleigh jersey guy. He was wearing a jersey that said dump it here, 63.
Yeah.
He wanted to catch the home run ball, and he did.
He did.
In a section filled with Tigers fans. And then, he became that sensation. The Mariners flew him back here for Game 5, and home run almost landed out his way again. He almost caught it. So, all right. Maybe the Sam Darnold lookalike will become the theme of this season moving forward.
I want to know, has he been at other games?
I'm sure he had, yeah.
Has he? I mean, he traveled. He's from Seattle. Do we know this? We don't know any of this.
Well, we did. I mean,
everyone's
doing stories. Oh, this guy.
The Sam Darnold guy.
Oh, I thought you meant the dumper guy.
Stan Darnold. Yeah. Does he live in Charlotte and he just loves the Seahawks and that's what he wanted to do? Yeah. Or has he traveled every game and we just haven't seen him on TV yet? No one's caught him.
True. Bad job by the cameras if they hadn't, because that's a pretty distinguishable look. Yeah. He did look enough like him that you think, okay, this is maybe an older brother or someone that,
it was more
of a filled out Sam Darnold, but it was definitely the hairstyle and the color.
It's a post-career Sam Darnold.
A post-career Sam Darnold lookalike there. But hey, maybe he will be in San Francisco this weekend. I guess if the cameras find him, then he's there.
There we go.
Sweeping the dial.
B-Wall, this is a wild stat that we like to bring up on this show. Dave and Bob get the biggest kick out of it, and is kind of stunning that in the long history of the Chicago Bears, they've never had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards in a season. Caleb Williams is very close. He's at 3,730, and he was asked whether that's a big deal to become the first quarterback to hit that 4,000-yard mark in Bears history.
Yeah, I think for me, it'd be cool just in the sense of there's never been one here, and I think I was brought here for those type of things and those type of moments, that things that haven't been done here, to try and be able to accomplish. And I think it, like I've said before, the self goals and all of that always gets swept under when you go for the team goals, and that's winning ball games. And so that's first and foremost on my mind. That's first and foremost for this team, because the most important thing is winning ball games and heading into the playoffs with some momentum and some good energy heading into the playoffs.
Isn't that kind of wild that for how long the Bears have been around, they've never had a 30-touchdown quarterback in a season or 4,000-yard passing?
Yeah, it's bizarre to me. Going through the 2000s, it's like you haven't really had a good quarterback. It's crazy when you look at the list.
It's going to be a sad and funny state.
Let's go backwards. I mean, Justin Fields was the one before Caleb Williams. Before that, Mitchell Trubisky. Before that, you had Matt Barkley. Jay Cutler held it down. That's the shocking one. I'm surprised Jay Cutler didn't do it one time. In 6 seasons, he was the quarterback there. He didn't get that done one time. But I think he had some injuries.
And you had some bad Bears teams.
Bad Bears teams. Kyle Orton, Rex Grossman, Kyle Orton again. Cordell Stewart was the quarterback for the Bears at one point.
I mean, it's a sad list. It really is.
Yeah, no, I mean, looking at this list, it shocks me that back in the 90s or 80s or something, there wasn't something. But there was less passing back then. That didn't happen much at all. So,
and, of course, the quarterback that kind of defined their greatest era, Jim McMahon, during the Super Bowl, they were led by their defense. And you're right, not a passing league like it is now, but just it's more of the funny part of this is a franchise that's been around for a very long time.
Is this the only franchise?
I believe so. We've looked it up plenty of times, and I forget now in the moment. But it's it's big enough that it's a thing. Like every time a Bears quarterback gets close, it becomes a big deal. And now that Caleb Williams can get there, I mean,
270 yards.
You have the extra game, so you could say, all right, well, maybe this is not as big of a deal as it had been in the past. Now you have a 17th game to do that. You only had 16 games before, but still, it'll be notable. And we have to redefine records now because of this extra game. So if Caleb Williams gets 270 yards this week against the Lions, he will be the first Bears quarterback.
Yeah, I'm going to do a hot take here. I think the new record should be average per game, just so you can throw away everything as far as, maybe that's not the good one now that I think about it, because if you play 6 games, your average yards per game could be higher.
If you play a full season.
Full season.
You're right.
Full season.
Because, yes, accomplishing a yardage total, as we're talking about JSN, maybe getting into the top 5, it's not as impressive compared to someone who did it in 16 games. Like Calvin Johnson's absurd total. He has the single season record for yardage for a receiver, 16 games.
And then didn't they have 14 games way back in the
way back,
too?
in the Wyman days,
Wyman days.
I think Wyman had 16 even, because he was on the 2-14 team.
But it's looking at this list, this does not shock me anymore. I'm actually,
So Caleb Williams, he could do it. So that's Sweeping the Dial. All right, last chance to get them in. Mean texts coming up next. Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Let's start with the most obvious, Brock.
Brock and Salk.
His defense is really good.
Morning 6 to 10.
A lot of loss.
Yesterday was we can't block DeMarcus Lawrence, we can't block Leonard, we can't block Byron, we can't do anything, we can't push the ball down the field. We just can't compete with that defense that is just basically humiliated us in our own building.
Very, very attuned to not giving up the big play, but then the pass rush is a big part of that, and it gets home.
Only on Seattle Sports.
Seattle's rainy season is here. Don't wait to replace your roof. Schedule your free estimate at 3treeroofing.com and get $500 off your roofing project. Our expert team creates a custom plan for your home, ensuring a smooth, worry-free installation even in the winter months. With material prices low and lead time short, now is the best time to act. Stop throwing money at costly repairs. Protect your home this winter with a new roof from your neighbors at 3Tree Roofing. Visit 3treeroofing.com today to secure your $500 discount. 3Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The new year is finally here, and you could kick the new year off right by getting in shape and making Top Fitness your first stop. Hey, Brock, you're here with my friends at Top Fitness, where their stores are celebrating the new year with some great deals. You could take your New Year's resolution seriously with the very best fitness gear there is set up in your home by our professional installers. They sell the best quality products available. Brands like Precor, True, Octane, Inspire, and Hyrox. Come in now and check out the best deal of deals on treadmills. They're Precor 885 treadmills that are lease returns normally sell for over $13,000, now only $36.99, including a full 3-year warranty. This is the same commercial treadmill sold to health clubs worldwide. And every new treadmill, elliptical, and home gym, well, they're all on sale. They got the largest selection of home fitness equipment in Washington, and their staff will show you why. It's no secret why everybody from pro athletes to personal trainers love their stores. Locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue, or visit topfitness.com for more info. That's Top Fitness, your best place for home fitness equipment.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Rain on game day doesn't faze Dave. He's already got his poncho. Just needs to do something about those wipers. So Dave heads to AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone,
where a friendly AutoZoner helps him get premium quiet wipers and some hand warmers.
You're all set.
Now, if only his team can handle the elements as well as his new wipers. Get wipers, glass cleaner, and more with no hassles, just help at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th.
Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
This is the home of the Seahawks.
Going to let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN.
Seattle Sports.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation, so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
Want to make 2026 your year of adventure? Book that trip and learn a new language with Babbel. Go ahead, make a resolution you can stick to. Now is the time. Babbel's New Year sale is here. Unlock all of the languages on Babbel with the lifetime subscription for 65% off. Just go to Babbel.com and start today. Babbel teaches you relevant words and phrases, so you can start speaking with confidence in as little as 3 weeks. And because Babbel's bite-sized lessons fit easily into your daily routine and are easy to remember, you'll be talking like a local in time for takeoff. Dive into the world of language learning content with Babbel's videos, podcasts, and stories from around the world, full of culture bites and language learning tips. Turn your daydream into a destination this year with Babbel. But don't wait. This offer ends January 15th. Get Babbel's lifetime access for less at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Wake Forest, Mississippi State coming up next.
Ball teed up.
It all comes down to this.
The final game of the regular season.
One game.
To decide who wins the NFC West Division.
And the number one seed in the NFC.
Meaning if the Seahawks win, the road to the Super Bowl runs through Lumen Field in Seattle.
You can't do that unless you win the next one.
Seahawks 49ers tomorrow. Kickoff at 5. Pregame at 2.
This should be fun.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through January 4th, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Talk about stepping up. It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But when you can't work, care for your kids, or even put food on the table, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to support Northwest Hope and Healing. Our mission is to provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. For more than 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help make a difference in our community. Join us on Saturday, January 31st for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, gourmet cuisine, and inspiration at Mary Hill Winery in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
Everybody loves the season of giving, but now the season of paying for it is upon us. That not-so-wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, stare in horror at the balance, and resolve then and there to find new ways to save money. If you're among those Americans, why not start by cutting your wireless bill in half right now with Pure Talk's Saver Plan? It's easy. You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast, nationwide 5G network for just $20 a month. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Ho, ho, ho. And if you're active or former military or a first responder, you'll save an additional 20% every single month. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe for the gift that keeps on saving from America's wireless company. Pure Talk.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. We now join our regularly scheduled programming on Seattle Sports.
Years past where we've had inconsequential games won by teams in week 17 or 18, where it pushes them down the order 3, 4, 5 spots.
Didn't that happen with the Giants specifically in the Jaden Daniels draft, where they won because of Tommy Cutlets in week 18, and that pushed them down, and then the Commanders.
17.
Maybe that's what it was.
But yes.
Check it out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast.
You feel that? It's a special NFL on ESPN Saturday doubleheader. Feeling the NFC South title on the line as Bryce Young and the Panthers take on Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Then the NFC's #1 seed is up for grabs as Sam Darnold and the Seahawks face Brock Purdy and the 49ers. Feeling end-of-season stakes and the playoff picture taking shape. Feeling Panthers Buccaneers at 4:30 Eastern and Seahawks 49ers at 8. Saturday on ABC and ESPN. Also streaming on the ESPN app.
Football Sunday on ESPN Radio. The Miami Dolphins face the New England Patriots, who clinched the AFC's 1 seed with a win, and our Broncos lost.
May takes the snap, runs to the near sideline, at the 12, avoids pressure, now runs back toward the far sideline, to the 10, 5, and into the end zone. Drake May making something out of nothing.
The Dolphins at the Patriots. Coverage begins Sunday at 4 Eastern, with kickoff at 4:25 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
It's your last chance to get Disney Plus, Hulu, and the ESPN app for one incredible price. With the ESPN app, you can watch some of football's biggest postseason games, including epic bowl matchups, the college football playoff, and NFL wild card and divisional playoff games. Get it all for $29.99 a month for 12 months. Visit Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPNBundle.com for details. Ad-supported plan auto-renews at regular price. Currently $35.99 a month. Subject to change unless canceled. Ends January 5th, 2026. Terms apply.
This is the AutoZone Liberty Bowl on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Jim Basketball back on the College Football Live postgame show. We are presented by Venmo with Navy and Cincinnati each looking to finish their season off strong. Midshipmen looking to get 4 straight bowl wins, while Cincinnati was looking to snap a 4-game slide on this season, which spiraled out of control on the back end. Your game flow is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Well, Blake Horvath came into this game 25 total touchdowns, 15 on the ground for the midshipmen, kept that trend going as the teams would swap touchdown runs. Horvath in from 2 yards out, Samaj Jones in from 6 yards out, but just before the half, Navy goes to the air.
Blake Horvath, the Navy quarterback, playing in his final game. He comes under center on 2nd and 10. He rolls right. He's going to throw. He's going to loft it up deep downfield. Wide open and a touchdown. It is Luke Hutchison in the end zone, hauling it in for the 30-yard score. And Navy takes the lead.
That gave him a 14-7 advantage at the break. Horvath accounting for 2 of those touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 there through the air. Third quarter, first touch, 7-play drive. They're back to it, paying dividends.
Horvath play action to throw for the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. That is Chapman on the reception, and Navy extends their lead. Check that, it's Eli Heidenreich. A 13-yard strike, and Navy has made it a 20-7 game.
Indeed they did. Horvath, the second scoring strike of the game, 21-7. They would trade lost fumbles. Bridging the third and fourth quarter, Navy went 14 plays, 56 yards. Alex Tezka from 2 yards out or 3 yards out, making it a 28-7 game. And then their defense struck late.
Lichtenberg throws over the middle. It's intercepted by Cully and returned for a touchdown. He caught it right at the 5 and ran it back in Chase Culley brings it back. His second interception of the season. Mark Anthony Parker put the pressure on him immediately to force that quick throw and mistake.
And there you have it. They did it on the ground, through the air. They did it with the D.